Alrighty, family. Welcome, family. Blog Talk and YouTube Live. I hope everybody is doing an amazing job. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you guys have been staying safe, most important. We are in for a treat today. I am not here to offend. Let's get that out the way. But I am here for truth. And this is something that we have not been taught, nor are we teaching our children. And as you see, the topic, let's go over that, is dating, marrying your open enemies. Now on Blog Talk, it's the changing of the gods, and it's dating, marrying your open enemy. The number to call in, if you want to call in, it's 563-999-3682. And on Facebook, I am live, and I do have the streamline in the comment if you want to call in. If you guys want to call in, feel free to press on the StreamYard.com and feel free to join me. You may have some questions or comments yourself. Like I said, it's time for truth. A lot of things are going on. And you know what? A lot of people have asked me, and I do want to welcome my Blog Talk audience. Thank you for joining in. And I appreciate all the ones that join in even after the week is over, during the week, I should say. I do appreciate you even joining then. A lot of people will ask me, Cassie, why, I think I've messed this up. They'll ask me, as far as the COVID is concerned, if, because I do think that it's a plague, and I do believe that it is something that we have partake of unknowingly. What do I mean by that? I mean, we have mixed and mingled. We've cohabitated, we've married, we've dated our open enemies, and we call them friends, we call them wives, we call them husbands, and we don't understand the danger. Yah told us, and there's a scripture, and I can back it up, and there's several, but I'm just going to take the one, and that's in Deuteronomy 7, and we'll read that in a minute. But I would just want to help you to understand a lot of things that's getting ready to come on the earth. We are going to be held accountable because we're out of order. What do I mean by that? When he gave you the commandment of not mixing and mingling with your open enemy, he meant that. When he told you not to thank you, stranger. When he told you not to marry, mix and mingle, not to, come from among, not to learn the ways of your enemy, what did we do? We thought it was okay. We came up with all kind of excuses because integration, we thought, meant that we had access to forbidden fruit. Okay, fruit that we had no business touching, just like Adam and Eve. Remember, Eve touched the fruit, and what happened to her? Okay, all of this craziness happened because of Eve touching the fruit. Right? We failed to realize the dangers of stepping out of order, stepping into the snake pit, I should say. We fail to realize the dangers of that. And let me just read something. Just let me help you out. And I know people are gonna, get up in arms, but my thing is, come on, let's talk about it. Okay. Thank you for everybody for joining, even on my YouTube. Thank you for joining. Just want to read something, and we're going to go from 7, Deuteronomy 7, and when it says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee." And then he talks about the Hittites, the Jebusites, and all those the ites and stuff. Okay, it says, let me grab this for a minute. He says, "And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite thee and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Okay, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take up to upon thy son. For they will turn away thy sons from following me, okay, that they may serve other gods, and so will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth." Why did I read that? Because it's time for us to understand who we are. It's time for us to take our rightful places. We are going through some very strange times, I should say. And the country has been shut down, and a lot of people are not taking heed. They're not understanding what this reset is really all about. And family, let me help you out there. The reset is for you. The reset was for you to actually do what you were supposed to do, get your own business, but and some other things. That was among the first, was to get your own business. Okay. When you're resetting something, you're starting afresh and starting anew, okay, from scratch. Okay. So if you see a service right now that's needed, this is the time for group economics. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about group economics, and he told us to do what? Team up with somebody of like mind, like heart, and get some help, pool your monies together, and create your own. It is time for us to create our own. It's time for us to support our own. It's time for us to come together and learn a code of behavior. And from mixing and mingling and integrating, this is what we have. We have a mess. We have our kids, they're educating our own children. They're teaching our children their ways, their culture. They're not teaching our children our culture, our heritage, or code of behavior. Remember now, when in slavery, everything was stolen away from us. Who you are, and that's in Romans 11:25. It talked about being blinded, and that's what a lot of us are right now, but we're waking up from that. So you have a lot of Black people really talking about who they are right now, and we're the true chosen children. We are. This Bible was about you, and there are other books that are hidden, that were taken out of the Bible, um, the Apocrypha, Sefer, a whole slew of other books that you should probably start reading, that your pastor told you not to read. You have to understand that your pastors sold you out. They were there to heal the family. They were there to kind of do a little bit of, hi Joshua, thank you for joining. They were there to kind of to try to sway us, put us back into our rightful places, but they didn't do that, unfortunately. A lot of them were blinded. Okay. But once they started to wake up, everything should have shifted back to Saturdays, which is the true day of worship, really. It was changed by Constantine, the Catholic Church, and they did it on purpose. A lot of what they told us we could do, we're still not supposed to be doing, just like eating shrimp, pork, and all that. It's there. But guess what? They told us. Who told us? They told us. They told our pastors what to teach us, but they knew. Why did you think in slavery they fed you the pig's behind, his intestines? I'm gonna just be nice about it. I usually say the word. Why do you think they fed you that? Because they knew that you weren't supposed to eat that. Everything we weren't supposed to eat, they gave. Everything we weren't supposed to do, they did. So a lot. We had our own culture. We had our own language. We had our own heritage. We had our own everything. But guess what? They took all of that away, And even in Psalms 83, okay, I'm not trying to make this a Bible, but I need you to help. I need to help you to kind of understand what's really going on. They wanted to erase your culture. They wanted to erase your heritage. They wanted to erase everything about you. They wanted to erase. So if I erase you and I adopt your babies, which they're doing now, I can change a whole generation. If I adopt your babies and I'm into homosexuality and I teach your children about, because they see me and my husband and me and my wife doing whatever, guess what? Children do as you do, not as you say. So if I tell you it's wrong, but you see me doing it, guess what? Our children are going to do it. So this is why they're adopting our children. And I'm going to tell you, integration, that was the absolute worst thing that we could have ever done. So now we call people that used to beat, used to maim, used to murder, used to strip, rape, buck broke our men, fed our babies to alligators, cut our babies out of our stomach, snatched our babies, had sex with our babies in front of us, had sex with our moms in front of their husbands, had sex with our men in front of their families, and sold your and use your man to as a cattle to have to enslave and impregnate every woman on the plantation. So that's another thing why men don't understand how to be faithful, because they didn't, it was stripped away from them. They used to know, it was stripped away from them, and then they kind of got away from it, and then a lot of other stuff had, a lot of other stuff came into play. But the thing about it, you have to understand that when you're blinded and when your culture is taken, nothing matters. You don't know who you are. This is why our men, this is why our boys wear their pants half down their butts and not understanding what it means. And this is why our men, go from woman to woman, because that's what they did. That's what they were taught. That's what grandpa taught them. That's what great grandpa taught grandpa. And that's what so it goes on. But it's time for us, family, to get it together. This is all about a healing program. It's not to downgrade anybody. I'm trying to bring us back together so that we can understand what the season of the time of what's going on right here and what's now. A lot of what's going to happen and what's happening now is not supposed to affect us. But when you're out of order, because one prophet in the Bible asked, one king asked Bala, he wanted to put a curse on Israel. And he said, "You can't, I can't." He said, "They're blessed. I can't put a curse on something Yah has already blessed." And he said, "But I could tell you how." And he said, "Introduce them to sin. Introduce Israel to homosexuality. Introduce them to interracial mating. Introduce them to interracial, all this adultery, fornication, all this stuff. Introduce them to sin." And guess what? Introduce them to the wrong foods, introduce them to eating pork, shrimp, lobster, introduce them. And how do you know? Guess what? When you're eating shrimp, alligators, and frog legs and snakes and all that stuff, you're eating, just consider yourself eating roaches. You're eating the nastiest animals on earth, because they eat everything else. The pig eat everything, okay? And shrimp, they clean up, they're cleaning up the feces. They're, it's almost like they're the polluter. They keep the pollution down in the ocean, and we're eating them. We have to understand what's going on. But this has been portrayed to us, this has been done to us on purpose, because you have to understand, they need you to survive, family. They need us to survive. They need us, because they're low birth rate. They're not having babies. They can't have babies. They have low sperm counts. So, and just like in China, how China killed all the girl babies maybe about 20 years ago, and now their boys are grown and they can't find wives. Guess what they're doing? They're mating with the Africans. They need them to survive, family. And what do we do? What do we do? We oblige them. We know what's going on. We know they're using us. We know this. But what do? We allow them to continue using us, and we're okay with it. We're okay. We have access to their women. We have access to their men. We have access. But guess what? You're going against the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. You're going against what He told you not to do. So guess what? If you don't get it in order, you are going. This is what you're seeing now with COVID. This is it. Remember, at first it wasn't even affecting us. Remember, and all of a sudden, all of these white countries, Italy, France, all these white European countries was getting it, right? South Africa. Why is South Africa and not the rest of it? The rest is touching a little bit, but South Africa is really hitting hard. Why? Because it's more white in South Africa. So they'll tell you, oh, South Africa is really getting hit hard, but they're not telling you it's the white folk in South Africa that's being hit the hardest. That's what they don't tell you. They're not telling you that a lot of times you go in the hospital and you die of a fever, they put a label on it as COVID. So a lot of black people, you mean to tell me we don't die of heart attacks anymore? We don't die of cancer. We just die of COVID. Everybody died of COVID there. Because guess what? They're paying every doctor $30,000 per client that they say that has died of COVID. And guess what? They're putting it on black folks. So guess what? I cannot express enough about this mask. I did a show on it. A virus, your immune system is okay. You're supposed to be able to fight off some of the stuff, you guys, but you have to understand. You got, when you have white folk licking their hands and licking the poles and on the bus and they're touching all this stuff, and then us touching it and us eating. And you're supposed to keep wipes. You're supposed to keep your hands clean. You're supposed to keep your hygiene clean. You're supposed to keep your body clean. I'm just saying, this is how we can stop a lot of the contamination. But you have to come from among. You have to be separate. This is his word. This is what he told us to do. But we think that we got it. We think we can do what we want to do. Well, you can't tell me what to do. He's like, yeah, I can, because I told you not to mix and mingle. Yeah, I can. I do have the authority to tell you what not to do. And he's showing you this is what you're not going to do. I told you not to. And what verse was that? He said, don't even marry him. And what did we do? We married him because it was free access. Because we think, because the brainwashing. Okay, because you see on TV, the interracial dating, they push that hard. You never see a black woman and a black man together. You never see a black family on TV together. Stop, turn off that TV, you guys. That is the worst thing you could ever do. Get out of that junk tube. That's a junk tube. I call it a junk tube. Get off of it, because they're not going to show you anything positive about yourself. So what you need to do is come out, just leave it alone, get away from it, and keep moving, because they don't have anything good to say about us, and everything they just portray you in the media terribly. All the pictures that come up with black folk, we the hoes, we the drug dealers, drug addicts, or we're fornicators, or we cussing somebody out, or we gang bangers, or okay, all the crazy stuff. When are we going to want better for ourselves? Dr. Boyce Watkins, he has movie night, okay, and he does some black shows. He's trying to do like a black Hollywood, okay, and I think that's a good idea. I think we should be doing a whole lot of stuff separate from them. I think we should just totally separate. I believe integration was, like what Martin Luther King said, put us into a burning building. I think the worst thing we could have done was to come together. Our men now and women, we are passing up our kings and queens, our tens, and mating we're marrying dysfunctional zeros. And that's what they are. They're all dysfunctional, because all they do is sleep around with their families. They sleep with their daughters, they sleep with their sons, they sleep with their moms, sleep with their uncles, the uncles sleep with their daughters. That's what they do. That's what they were taught. That's how they mix and mingle. That's what they do. That's what they're about. That's all they know. They don't know anything. So you have to understand that instead of you thinking you're getting something better, but you hate yourself so much that you are actually willing to marry your enemy. And then you disrespect your own. Then you allow her to disrespect you by talking about your black sister and brother, by talking about your culture. And do you not know that by her disrespecting you, she's disrespecting your culture? She's really disrespecting you. Do you not understand that? Well, I seen a couple on here, and I mean, he was white and she was black. And I mean, he was going in on the black culture and she was going in. But I guarantee you, why didn't she say anything about his culture? I didn't hear anything about his culture. I always see, every time I see a mixed couple, I always see that black person, whether it's the male or the female, they go hard on their own. And this young man, whoever the white dude is, and the white, they never say anything about their own. They never, ever, 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 ever say anything about their own. Why is that? That's the sad part about it. We'll get on there and disrespect our own, and they expect us to. I had a girl at work, and I have an African guy I work with at work. He's been there about 25 years, and the white girl came to me one day, and she goes, "Oh, he's slow," and she started disrespecting him. She had the wrong one. I just looked at her, right? And I said, let me tell you something. I said, you've been here 2 weeks. He's been here 25 years. He has a right to do whatever he wants to do right now. He's getting ready to retire. So if he wants to move like a turtle, He didn't did his. You need to do yours. You've been here 2 weeks. He's been here 25 years. You thought she actually thought I was going to go against my own, but you have to understand she thought that because that's what they're used to seeing. They're used to seeing us dog our own in front of them. They're used to saying what they want to say about our own, and then we jump on a bandwagon and say, we'll join in the conversation. No, I'm not the one. I don't go against my own for them. I don't care if I don't agree, just like R. Kelly. And I know this is change. I'm not trying to change the subject. I'm just trying to show you something. When R. Kelly did what he did, I do not condone what he did at all. Okay. For one, I do have an issue with the parents. I do have an issue because the parents did what they did, and the girls got grown. Then R. Kelly said, "I'm not paying anymore," and he did what he did. But I don't condone it. But I will not ever go against my own for white folk. I will not do it, and it bothers me so bad when I see black folk disrespecting their own and jumping on the bandwagon and talking about your own with somebody white. When they wouldn't do that for you, they would never. You would not ever be able to talk about their own with them. You can't. They will never, they won't do it. But why is it that we do it? And another thing, what bothers me is how they use our leaderships, our leaders. Every one of our leaders in office is caping for white supremacy. Every last one. Everybody on the Black Caucus is caping for white supremacy. That's why they're in that position. Don't you think for 1 minute that any of those Black Caucus people are going to do or have your back. We had John Lewis, Eugene Cummings, we have Karen Bass, we have a slew of black culture in the Black Caucus. And a lot of them aren't from here. A lot of them from Jamaica, a lot of them from the Caribbean, and they, come over here and they choose them and put them in those positions. They pick the best of the best in our culture. And when I say the best of the best, I mean the brainiest, the smartest of the smart. And they pretty much bring them under their wing, like they did John Lewis. He was working with Martin Luther King, remember? And what did they do after Martin Luther King? They offered him a position. They brought him in. They brainwashed him. They taught him. They trained him. They told him what to say. They gave him laws. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't help your own. You can't do anything. We're gonna give you this money. We're gonna give you a job. And he stayed there 50 years, 30 years, right? And did absolutely nothing for his own. He did more for the LGBT and immigrants than he did for his own. And we wonder why. We look at these black folk that look like us, but they're cooning around. But you have to understand the coons are going to die. Two-thirds are going to die. Two-thirds of black folk in this pandemic, and this is just the first. You've not seen anything yet. There's more coming. This is why I keep trying to. I'm ringing the bell now. I'm ringing the bell. Come from among them. You cannot be mixing and mingling. If you are thinking that you cannot marry your enemy and call them friends. That's a no-no. That's why we're dying. He told you what to do. He told you what not to do. And what are we doing? We're doing it anyway. We're gonna do what we want to do. You can't do that, family. You have got to keep it straight. You got to keep it real. You got to keep it the way it's supposed to be. You can't just get in here and do what you want to do and think it's gonna be okay. No, it's no. Hold on, I'm trying to. Ooh, hold on, you guys. I'm sorry. I was trying to read my thing up here. You cannot mix and mingle and think it's gonna be okay and think you can go against him. This is what happened. This is why we are in the predicament that we're in now. This is why we're facing what we're facing right now with the Black Caucus and with what's going on in our lives. This is what's going on right now. And this is the sad part about it. It makes no sense. So I don't know what's it going to take for us to get it together, but we have to understand that now is the time for us to do what we need to do. It's going to take us concentrating. It's going to take us to we have. It's almost like we have to reprogram ourselves now. It's almost like we have to it's going to take us. I'm sorry. We have to get we got to go back to the drawing board. We have to get to the place where we are just doing something totally new, totally different, because they told us it was okay to do this. They told us it was okay to do that. They told us that it was okay, to marry our enemies. They told us, they trained us up. So what did we do? They trained us and we thought it was okay. We thought they had our backs. We thought they meant us good. We thought that they were friends. We thought for years It's now making sense that they didn't have our backs. They didn't have the best for us, but we allowed them to teach and train our children. Someone that don't like you, they're not going to teach you what you need to know. And we allowed them to teach our children. And what did they teach our children? How great they were and how nothing our children were. But we did that. We allowed that. We allowed that. That's the sad part about it. That's the sad part. And it hurts so much. But how do we get people back on track? How do we change this? How do we change the mindset? We start educating our children. Now you see where the schools are closed, right? We start homeschooling our children. We get homeschooling programs. We get programs together where they can do it online first, nationwide. And this is something we can charge maybe a small fee, and we can educate our own children. It is going to take us doing for us. We say we want change. We say we want something different. We say we want to be free, but we don't do anything to be free. We don't do anything that's going to help us to get it to become free. We don't do anything different. We just continue doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And then we complain about white folk. How are you going to complain about white folk when you're not doing anything different to help yourself? Don't expect your enemies to do anything for you. I'm trying to see what you're saying, you guys. I'm reading my okay. Okay. I'm just trying to read some comments. But I just want you guys, I'm just trying to help us understand why are we going through some of the stuff that we're going through. And we hate ourselves so. And this has been done over the years. Okay. Integration started with slavery. Then we got a break, from slavery to like what 1963. Everything was separate. We had Black Wall Street. So y'all showed us what we can do. They saw what we can do. It was their idea for us to come together. We had okay. How much sense does this make? Help me out, family. We were under them in slavery, right? We were under them for what? Slavery, right? We got free in 1865. Okay, we did our own thing from 1865 to I'm gonna say 1963, right? They saw all that time what we can do. They saw how great we were. They saw how motivated. They saw the towns that we built. They saw we had our own buses, we had our own homes, we had our own areas, we had our own cities, we had our own everything. But we didn't have our own defense. We didn't have our own police. We didn't have our own security. We didn't have now we dropped the ball in those areas, but we forgot how to invest in each other. You know what I'm saying? We kind of slipped there a little bit. So then when Martin Luther King came and said, "Hey, you guys, we want to be equal, separate, but equal was good for us. It should have been because we left our bus stations, we left our little leagues or our major leagues or whatever we had. We left our hospitals. Our teachers were Black. They couldn't go into the white schools and teach. Okay. They lost their jobs. Now, why would people that had it together, why would we do that? Family, help me to understand that. We had everything that they had, and ours was a little, maybe not as good, but guess what? If we had to put our money more into it, if we made $1 billion, we're worth $1.2 trillion. How much do you think we were worth back in those days? But we were supporting our own. Don't you know? It would have been we could have bought it up to par if we had to put our money, our taxes into our stuff. And this is what I'm saying. We should have had a separate government. Okay, black side, white side. You deal with your people. And I'm just saying, this is what it should have been. We should have been running for local offices. We can run for local offices now. We want to change things for us now. We can run for local offices right now. So who's up for running for office? I'm just saying, we got to get our mindset back to being leaders. That's who we were. It didn't change, guys. It's still there. It's still in us. We got to get our mindset. We have got to transform the mindset. Our mindset is jacked up right about now. It's we just in a mess, a world of hurt right now. We have to get back to basics. We have to get back to understanding. And I really do believe that once we start getting back to educating our own, start putting a code of behavior in our children, we start teaching them how proud they are. I remember James Brown, this I'm Black and I'm proud. Say it loud. Remember that song? That song was That was a freedom song for us. That was a song of motivation. That was a song that when you heard that song, you got so proud. You just would see James Brown on that stage and he was dancing, and you were just so proud to be Black. But it's almost something like something died with the 70s and the 80s. Then the gangster rap came into play and all of this crazy stuff. We lost all of the soul. The all of the Black culture. It almost like went away because we had rap that replaced it, the music. But you have to understand, everything that was done to us was done systematically for us, to us. It was done on purpose, family. It was done on purpose. We don't understand that. Everything that has been done to us, it was done on purpose. We have to understand that. Um, yes, and yes, Joshua, yes, you did. They what they did, and now we are reaping the fruits of what they have taught us. And that's true. So now, guess what? We have to unteach ourselves and reteach ourselves. We have to undo the damage. But you know what's really hard is when it's so deep that you don't even understand that you're thinking white supremacy. You don't even think when you see your brother and he has his own business and you go into that business, your automatic thought is coming against your brother. Your automatic thought is when you see your brother building his own business, you look at him and you get negative because they have taught you how to think negative about your own, about yourself. So you automatically go there without even thinking. We had a whole guy that was doing the defense, and we totally went totally against him for no reason. The NFAC. I'm gonna keep talking about that because we went against our brother who's trying to do something positive, who's trying to free Black folk, who's trying to do it totally different than anybody else has ever done it in the world. And what did we do? We jumped on the bandwagon. They didn't need COINTELPRO. They used us by putting one rumor out there, and Black folk ran with that rumor because they were so proud to see that he was failing. They thought. I'm just saying, we got to get our mindset right. If the news is reporting it, turn off the TV because you know they're not going to give you the whole story. Let's see. Let's find a way of even intermarrying each other, African American Africans, to bring. Yes, yes, we have to. Yes. Um, it said we need to shift our minds. They need to know more about African engagement. Yes, program. Yes, and this is why we have to start creating our own educational system. We have to start really. When Black folks say that they won't change, do we really want to be free? Do we really want change? Because all of this of what we're saying, we could actually start doing. We could actually start homeschooling our own children. I'm sure we have teachers on here. I'm sure we have unemployed teachers here right now that are looking for a way to make some money. Why don't you create your curriculum, create your why don't you create your school? Why don't you create it? You know how to do it. Why aren't we using our gifts? Why are we waiting to go back to work? Why are we waiting for them to tell you it's okay for you to make some money? They're already talking about evicting you, right? They're already talking about evicting us from our homes or our apartments or whatever. Why are we sitting back waiting for them to do that? Why aren't we putting things in action and making some things happen for us? Why aren't we? The sad part about it, we have just allowed them to destroy us. We've allowed them to destroy our culture, our heritage, and our children. We gave them our children, and Malcolm X said only a fool would allow their enemies to educate our children. And we know the damage, and we know, and we still allow them to do it. Just like I was telling you, everybody in the Black Caucus, everybody in leadership, Obama, he was in leadership. They used him against us. We actually thought that Obama was going to do something for us, didn't we? I was like, looking, man, but then I was thinking, I don't think. I said, but you know what? Let's try him. But the second time, I was like, that dude ain't doing nothing. When Michael Brown and more Black men died on his watch, and when he didn't say nothing, and when he called us thugs, and when he tried to get on us because we was rising up when Michael Brown died. And by the way, Darren, what's his name? Wilson, he's not gonna serve one day in jail for that murder. But you have to understand, they think they're winning, but sowing and reaping is so real. Darren has a son. He had a son when he killed Michael. Michael Brown. When he killed Michael Brown, his wife or girlfriend was pregnant then. He has a son. So guess what? You just sold something onto your own child and don't even understand. So when stuff start happening, I don't ever feel sorry for them because I know it's something that they've reached. And I'm not putting anything on anybody. I'm just saying that sometimes we will take it on to us. And I've seen one security guard or police officer that was fighting a guy. He was on the ground and they were tussling. I mean, this was a white guy. They were fighting on the ground. That police officer not once pulled out his gun to shoot that white guy. But guess what? You had brothers because the white guy was outdoing the police officer, right? He was tackling the police officer. Do you not know you had brothers helping the police officer out? That's how brainwashed we are. I'm looking at that and I was like, oh, every time I think about it, I get very upset because I'm looking at this and I'm like, you're helping your open enemy. You are helping your open enemy who would have shot you dead on the ground and nobody would have come to your help, your rescue. You won't even come to a black man's rescue, but you'll go and help a police officer out who's fighting one of his own. If you don't sit down somewhere, you don't sit it down. Whew. I said I won't holler today, y'all. It's hard because that right there, when I seen it, I was having a fit because I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can sit up there and be so dedicated. And I often ask Africans because I know Africans and I work with one and they love white folk. I'm just telling you, they are sold out for white folks. So I don't know when we go there, we're gonna have to get used to the culture, and we're gonna have to do some training, some educational classes for them, because they love some white folk. You may open up your business, they may or may not even support you. I'm just saying, they love some white folk. So you have to be ready for what's coming. The mindset but it's we don't. I mean, we can't say anything. We do the same thing here, but for black folk to help that white officer out, it was disgusting. I'm thinking if that had been the other way around, if it had been a black guy on the ground, would somebody white have helped him? Family? No, heck no. The police officer would have shot him dead, and they just said, "Oh, he deserved to die because he had a ticket, or his tail light was out. He deserved to die." Just like the one dude died over a traffic stop. Who gets killed over a traffic stop? Explain that. Who gets killed because you sleeping in a Walmart parking lot? Who who dies because you're sleeping and they knocking on your window? You sleep. Some people are hard sleepers. The one guy that they shot and killed in the car, and they shot him like 100 and sometimes. I don't know what that guy's name is, but they shot this dude 100 and sometimes. And I'm telling you, I don't it hurt my heart. He probably didn't even know he was waking up dead. He was in the car and they was, saying they was giving him commands, but they was outside the car. You don't know if he had his music on, okay? Because some people sleep with music on. You don't know if he was just drunk or if he was just so out of it, because of he had a good time. He might have went to a party or maybe just come out for work. Maybe he just couldn't even make it home. He was sitting in the car. He probably said, "Well, let me just sit here and take a couple of minutes, sleep, and I'm gonna sit here, and then I'm gonna, start." But he didn't know that that was the wrong thing for him to do. Shouldn't have happened like that. It shouldn't. He should not have been threatened with death because he wanted to sit there and sleep and rest. You die over just sitting there. Some of this stuff just is blowing my mind. I don't know. Okay. I keep getting on that subject. Not trying to get on that subject right now. That's the subject for another day. Trust me, we're gonna get on that one too. Um, I really need to help you to understand that when we are dating and mating with our open enemy, we are actually prolonging life for them. We're creating more enemies of their children for our babies. I'm just saying. Why are we so apt to help? Why do we make our seed, and why do we make our bodies, and why do we make us so available to people that have tricked you forever to make you think that they like you and they don't? They've never liked us. They have faked and shaked for so long, you guys. And just because, let me just show you, Democrats and Republicans are the same party. The Democrats, Trump tell you, I don't like you. Biden is doing it on the low. Clinton did it on the low. Clinton came and he wrote some crime bills, honey, that knocked us out the box, okay, as far as jail time. And Biden did too. But Clinton came in your face and lied and said something that he wasn't going to vote on. He turned around and voted on that thing. He told black folk he wasn't gonna vote on. That thing was a snake in the grass. You should see Haiti. That creep right there, that Clinton, he took so much from Haiti and he took so much money out of Haiti that Haiti is struggling till today to eat. starving them to death. But Democrats don't tell you. They smile in your face and they come and play a horn, and they're Obama and his wife got a little podcast and black folk eating it up. Y'all better wake up. You guys better wake up. Neither party has our best interest at heart. Excuse me. Neither party is promising black folk anything. Cut the check. Neither party is promising you that they're going to do anything about police brutality, because I still see that. Even though we've been protesting, I still see that they're still doing crazy stuff, just like they just had a family of 6 on the ground. Really? You put a whole family of 6 on the ground for what reason? Because you don't even know why. But guess what? I keep thinking, if I would have been laying on that ground, I'd have been thinking, "Oh, I'm getting ready to get paid. So go ahead and keep me on the ground. Them little ground, little burn marks that they got from laying on that hot concrete. I would have counted every one as $1,000 burn here, $1,000 burn here, $1,000 burn here. I'd have put my little arm up. I got a little burn. I'm just saying, just think about you getting paid. Yes, you lived through it. Thank God the whole family lived through it. Let me see. Oh, um, okay, I was just trying to see what my comments were. If anybody has any comments, you guys can feel free to call in on Blog Talk Radio, and I gave you the number. I'll give it to you again. It's 563-999-3682, and also I have put the streamline in the chat. So if you guys want to call in, and you can join me on here if you have any comments, or if you have any questions, or if you have just something that you want to get off your chest, because I know I'm talking, but I know I'm upsetting some people. But it's meant to for you to wake up. It's meant to upset you. It's meant for you to get your butt out out of your okay. And it's time for us to stand up and do the right thing for our own. It's time for us to support our own. It's time for us to get our heads out of the sand and understand what's really going on here. And this is serious. And I don't think we understand how serious it is, but it's time for us to understand that we need to do better. As far as supporting ourselves and really coming together and really um, coming back to our blackness and our black homes and our black women and our black men, it's time for us to do better because we have dropped the ball, family. And I don't know. It's going to take us. We keep looking for somebody to help us. We keep looking for people to kind of dig us out of this ditch here. Guess what? The people that you're waiting for is glad that you're in the ditch. They're glad that you're marrying their daughters. They're glad that you're helping them out to recreate your enemies. They're glad that you are still asleep. They're hoping that you stay asleep. They're hoping and praying that you stay asleep. It's just so ridiculous that we won't actually help each other, but we'll help them out. We're doing a favor for them, but you won't do a favor for yourself, which is ridiculous, which is crazy. So we need to get ourselves. We need to get our lives together. Um, I was talked about the code of behavior for our children and teaching our boys. We have to teach our boys. We have to teach our boys. I do see some 602. Um, 602, I'm going to answer. If you don't want to talk or are you just trying to listen, put it in the comments if you're trying to listen or you're trying to talk. But we have to understand that it is time for us to teach our little boys that Becky is a no-no. Teach our little boys. And you have to start teaching a code of behavior. It's certain things that we shouldn't be doing. We should be teaching our boys not to do it. We should be teaching our boys not to proceed and messing and talking with Becky. Okay, 602. I am going to answer if you're ready to talk. 602, how are you? You got a comment or a question?
I do. Hi. I just wanted to make a comment about when you talked about being out of order.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually was just looking at some things related to Egyptian history this morning.
Okay.
And it talked about how we were once I hope I'm saying this correctly, a matrilineal system or society.
Uh-huh.
And that's one in which the woman the black woman, was head of the not only the household but of society, of government.
Mm.
And we got away from that, because at some point we started being infiltrated by the palm-colored people.
Yeah.
And even though we allowed them to be there and we let them infiltrate our society, and then even though we sent some of them back to the Caucasus Mountains, we allowed the white women, to stay.
Yeah.
And as a result, that kind of unfolded the whole system and changed it back to what's called a patrilineal system, where the man was the head. But the original Egyptians respected the fact that the woman, having the strongest genetic code that operated from the highest possible frequency, that has very specific genetic abilities at birth and they evolve throughout her life. What else can I say? She also was the only one that was considered to be able to produce a human. So that says a lot about some of what we know about these folks being the actual ones that are actually human.
Yes.
And so I'm saying all of that to say that there was just a totally different respect for the way that we lead. And we want this total leadership. It's just that men lead differently. They lead from more of an assertive space and place, but that's necessary to hold up everything. And we obviously operate from a mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect.
Yes, very spiritual.
So I guess my point on the end of all of that is that we are mismatched. We're completely out of order because we're just extensions of our men. We're one and the same. And so when you go to the other side, you just completely lose access to everything that makes you powerful. And it also affects the way that you ascend. Like you basically reject your ability to ascend to another level when you're intermingling with the wrong.
Right, when you're out of order. Yep, and you have to understand.
So
this is what's going on right now, Maria. With society, they're playing the role reversal. Can you hear me okay right now? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. They are playing the role reversal right now, and they're trying to put the women over the men. But biblically, it's always been the man first. The man is the head. The women, were in charge of the house and the kids, but the man was more in charge of the family, being providers and being husbands and really teaching their sons. And the woman was, there to teach the daughter how to be the wife, the mother, and was showing her son what kind of woman he wanted, to marry, and vice versa. And the man was there. And that's why it's so important to have a family. That's why it's so important it's almost like we have a half of a pie. We don't have the whole pie or whole coin because our other half is missing. And that was done on purpose. And that is the saddest thing. But we know that there's something wrong, but we continue getting further and further away from each other. So now they have us, have us dating their children, and they have full families. But they have the wrong mate. They have the wrong partner. You cannot be black first. You cannot put your culture first if you married to your enemy. You're going to put your wife's or your husband's family first, right? You're not going to put your culture first, which is sad. But you have to understand this was done on purpose. It started way back, honey. It started way back, but they knew the importance of having a man in our homes for our sons. And they knew that if you took the man out of the family, that the son would be incomplete and the daughter would too. I mean, have women, grown women with father issues because the dad wasn't there. So they knew what they were doing. It was done on purpose. And we're going to talk, some upcoming shows, we're going to talk about how much damage was actually done to the Black community. And we can see it even now with our boys being wild and being out of control because women cannot raise boys. And I do believe that if you're married and you're marrying and you're married, and say for instance it doesn't work, I believe that if you have a son, that man should be allowed to raise his son, because we as women cannot raise men We can raise weak men, but we can't raise warriors. We can't raise soldiers. We can't raise men of valor. We can't do that. That's not our job. So, that marriage, hopefully you have the right man, and hopefully you'll get the right man before you have children, and hopefully you'll get the help that we need. And I think this is why we have to start educating our own children, because we need classes that's going to involve healing, because we really do suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome, and we have trauma in our DNA that we kids keep passing down from generation to generation. So I do, totally understand. But we are so hateful, and we hate ourselves so much when we have been taught, but it was systemically taught to us, like underneath the covers taught. You know what I'm saying? Because they always told you how much they hated you, and I always told you, well, not really told you, but they showed you by calling you monkeys, by calling you apes, by calling you, telling you you were the devil seed because you were black and you were evil and you were cursed, and all of this, because how many white folks I've come across that said, hey, black folks were cursed. It was Ham and Cain that cursed. And I'm like, no, I have to correct them of who was who. The Canaanites were cursed, but it was due to, so I have to explain to them, the truth. And it's time for us to know the truth so that we can be set free. And until we know the truth, our truth, and not somebody else's truth, it's how are we going to be free? You don't know how to be free. All we know is how to depend on our enemies, and that's very dangerous for us to continue depending on our enemies. That's the sad part about it. Did you have any? You have another comment or question?
Just a quick one.
Uh-huh.
I was also wanted to talk about this concept of a siren.
Okay.
And a siren actually comes from Greek mythology. But what it is a woman, I believe she was considered a mermaid at some point. But she is designed, her whole job is to conform the soul to an eternal infernal regimen and lead that soul to fatal lethargy, corruption, and death. And what she would do was lure sailors onto rocky cliffs or something like that. But her whole thing was to seduce men and then lead them to their death. And I really believe that's why, just relating back to the main topic of the show, in terms of mismatching our people.
Yes.
But I believe that's when white women are allowed to date and to marry, et cetera, and not only watering down the race, but they know that once those two mix, that man is done. Right. He's really done. Yeah,
yeah, and that's their job, because you have to understand, with as you notice, a lot of white women marry our black men with money. Why do you think? You think that's done by accident? That's done on purpose, sweetheart. Because guess what? They bring the money and put it right back in the white community. They've actually taken the money out of their black community again, and they're giving it to their white wives who they died. Kobe Bryant, not being any disrespect for him, but he died and left millions to a white woman who the black community will never ever see a taste of that money. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just so sad. But this is what we've been taught. This is what our men have been taught. This is what happens when you integrate. This is what happens when you allow your enemies to teach your children. People don't even understand. I wanted to bring up a point about Mitch McConnell. He has a daughter, right, that just married Breonna Taylor, the DA. Him. She just married that DA, Breonna Taylor, Kentucky district attorney, and he's black. So that's why we can't get. So do you understand why we can't get justice when we're supposed to? Because he's sold out. He's sold out to his wife. He's not sold out to black people getting justice for black folk. He's sold out to his wife and her family. And that's what we do. When we mix and mingle, we sell our souls to that mate. We sell our souls to them, and we don't have any more allegiance to our own. And it's very hard for us to choose our own if we're married to our opposite culture. How can you be black first, married to, and you laying up against how me being black first? How can I talk the way I talk married to a white man? Don't you think I would offend and affect him every day? He'd look at me and be like, "Oh my God, she's at it again," because he wouldn't ever understand what's coming out of my mouth, because he'll think, "Oh my God, I'm married to a racist." Seriously, Because they look at me now and they go, "Oh, Cassie, you're right." I don't know. Because I love my own does not mean I hate anybody. I am just black first, and I will always be black first. And that's just what it is. And this is what the conscious is trying to wake our people up so that they can be conscious about what we're doing and the damage and how do we correct it. And if we don't start somewhere, and this is a great time to start. We're waiting for the Democrats to do it for us. Because guess what? Most Americans say, "Oh my God, once Biden get in office, what's he gonna do for you that he has not had the opportunity to do already? Because he's been in Congress and Senate how long? He did already hurt you more than he could have helped you anyway. I don't think he can fix anything. He's not even fixed the crime bill that he wrote that he had years to fix, right? He wrote that crime bill and put half of our black men in jail. And has he done anything to amend that? If a man is saying, I'm sorry, show me by you amending that law. Amend some of those laws because he paid the states millions of dollars to back his law. He paid the Black Caucus, you know what I'm saying, by different favors. He paid the pastors. Your own pastor sold you out. Your own pastors sold you out. Your own mayors, your own city sold you out. So if you was living for instance, if you live in California or you live in New York or they sold the black folk out and they backed that law because he said, okay, I'll give you millions of dollars, but you got to back this law and you got to give them harsher sentences to the blacks. And that's what he literally wrote the law for us. It wasn't for his son because his son was a crackhead. His son was on drugs also. Never went to jail. But you wrote it for my son and not yours. Ain't that something? But you still want to put this man and vote for him. Are you serious? At least Clinton, at least we know Trump is going to hate you in your face. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's no better, so don't get it twisted. But I like people to be real and let me know, yeah, I just can't stand your guts. And I can act accordingly. But when you smiling and you have the knife in behind your back and I come close to hug you and you stab me in the back, come on. How do I fight that? How do we fight hidden racism? And that's exactly what it is, hidden white supremacy. How do we fight that? Knowing how can you tell that apart? You can't. You could be actually married to somebody that's married to you for your money, and you not even know until the money is gone. 25 years later, who is that? Dr. Dre, his wife is leaving him after 25 years. Are you serious? Was it about the money or not? You understand what I'm saying? So how do we know if they're really serious about how do you trust your enemy? How do you really believe? How do you do that? I don't understand. I need help with that. How do I marry my enemy knowing that he could possibly just like that one young lady who her boyfriend, he was white and he was texting his friends about her and it was nothing good. Remember that? How do you trust that?
Yep.
How do you trust that?
Well, first of all, we automatically give people a pass just because, oh, he likes me, he thinks I'm pretty, or whatever it is that gets you connected in the first place. But I personally, well, I'm not dating like that. It's black or nothing. But what you should be looking for if you're going to open up the gate is some acts.
Yes.
Like you were talking about Biden. Biden
Yep.
can do anything to correct anything.
Yeah.
So do you volunteer? Do you teach? Do you tutor? Do you sit down and stop deflecting and actually listen when somebody's trying to give you a historical perspective?
Right.
Or you keep flipping it and deflecting it. You know what I mean? All those things are clues right out the gate. At the gate. And don't just be polite and smile at me. I need you to do something.
Yes.
Especially if you're in a position of any kind of power or authority to affect anything. If you're a human resources manager or whatever it is you do that your privilege has allowed you to do, do something with it.
Right.
If you do nothing with it but pretend to corrupt our freaking marches and put the
pretty much
communist stuff at our marches, then that's nothing. Done nothing but disrespecting.
And they pretty much taken over the march. I think it's more black people, white people out there than black right now. I'm not sure, but I've seen so much nonsense with that. It's just disgusting when I see, black and white, you're marching and you're holding hands and you got the police officers marching and kneeling, but they still killing you. So what's that about? Is it really about what is it really about? Is it about maybe I'm gonna meet me a woman out here? It's disgusting.
It's so disrespectful. Like I look at Hollywood, for instance, and I don't know if it's still there. I try not to walk up on the boulevard personally, but they had a huge Black Lives Matter all the way down Hollywood Boulevard, but it was in rainbow freaking colors.
Oh, you like, serious?
What? And it was, yeah, and then I had the opportunity to accidentally walk into the middle of the march without realizing it. I was going to the grocery store. I was not trying to be part of the madness, but I walked right into it. Oh, and they had like I said, they had the white guys who would normally never. I mean, you're looking at them like you're not one of us. Right. No, you're not. But they're standing there with their white fists up in the air, and then you've got the black guys in these lowrider cars playing NWA, and I'm like the combination of it. I wish I left my phone at home because I didn't want to be tracked. Oh my God! But I wish to God I filmed it because the contrast was crazy. Oh my God! It's so just it shows us how lost we are. And I don't know if it's any hope or what. It angers me because we're always hoodwinked. Every time we have a movement, somebody always takes the movement over, and I literally mean take it over. They always come in and try to infringe, and we allow them. We never have anything to ourselves. So it started with the Black Lives Matter, but then, George Soros, the LGBT NLP took it over, and now it's about the Black Gay Lives Matter. It's about the Black trans. It's not about straight Black men because they don't want straight Black men to have anything to do with it. Go ahead. We don't read, and we don't study people, and we don't hold them accountable. We hold each other accountable. Right. But we don't hold people accountable at all. Because if we just took a second to find out why you're here, and we just took a second just to go onto the Black Lives Matter mission page and see what their actual mission is, we would have never let them corrupt our movement like that. But because they have to really start putting our foot down. But because they stood beside us and they marched beside us, we thought, oh, they care. We will. If you slap me in my face, they haven't been caring. You just left your job where they didn't pay attention to you at the meeting. Exactly. They haven't been able to give you a raise. Exactly. They've been bringing in new people that barely have the experience you have. So now they care. Yes. But we see that and we ignore it, and we will forgive them for shooting us. We'll forgive them for killing our children. We forgive them for we forgive them for everything. We got this twisted as far as what does forgiveness mean. It doesn't mean them. What kind of God do you think we would serve that would tell you to forgive somebody that just killed your son, slew your child on the ground, blew his brains out, and you're gonna forgive that person? What is that? That's crazy. That's maniac. That's not what that means. They don't even half the time they don't even ask for your forgiveness. They just look at you and you just automatically give it. They don't even want it. They don't even ask you for it. That's why they don't care. And they look at you like, I didn't ask for it anyway. I don't care if you give it to me or not, because they didn't care nothing about you. But they just automatically know that this is what we're gonna do. But we got to get our mindset. We got to get it back on track. Start teaching our boys, leave these Beckys alone. It said train up your child in the way he should go. And are we doing that? No, we are not doing any of that. We don't even teach our children anything about nothing. What are we parenting? What are we saying? What are we teaching? We're not. We're allowing white folk to be our children's teachers. We're not teaching them at home. We're sending them to school and letting these devils, our enemies, teach our babies and pour their dysfunction in our children. That's the sad part about it. That's what really pisses me off. Why am I sending my child to a school that my enemy is alone with my child to tell my child about? To tell my child about what? How bad he is? Put him on medication because he don't act like some of these white children just as bad, and they'll put yours on medication before they will their own because they know what they're trying to create drug addicts out of our children. They want to be able to control our children, but our children and their children act totally different. But let our child not be 100% and let him have a bad day, he goes to jail. Just like that little 6-year-old. They sent her to jail. This little girl had a temper tantrum and her teacher called the police and they cuffed her and took her to jail. Do you not know if that hadn't been my child, that would not have been a very good day for that teacher, because I would have been right out there waiting for her when she got off work. I'm serious. You want to take my child to jail? Guess what?
Okay, that's I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna say nothing else about that. But you got the picture, the brain picture, right, of what I mean. Okay, I'm just saying. You
But
took
how
my
are you
child.
like a
She's 6 to
how are
jail.
you a parent?
I, I I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. We just
I don't get how you could be a parent and you like if I had a child in school, I can't imagine seeing a 6-year-old go to jail and I'm not up
exactly.
in arms like, oh, that can't be my
And
kid
why
that
was that
was held. That
okay?
can't be my
But you being a principal, why was that
right.
okay? You're the principal. You are the school board. Why was that? This ought to let you know how they don't like you. Every chance they get, they show us, Maria. Every chance they get, every chance they get, they show you. They show us every chance. The police officers show you every. And I seen on Facebook where the young lady was black and she had gotten stopped by a white officer and she was. It's all over Facebook and she was so upset. And I'm like, girl, did you really expect them to treat you any better, baby? You got on a blue uniform. They don't want you in because you black and they don't want you in that field anyway. Okay, because they want as less black folk as they can in that field because they want to tell they want to be in control of you. She was upset because because she
I
got
saw
a
that.
yes,
Yeah.
and I was upset at her because you crying. You did you really believe that you mattered? Did you really believe that you was gonna be okay? Did you really believe? And I hope she made a complaint on that dude. I hope. But my thing is, until we start making this stuff even, and I mean meeting it I'm talking about street justice because they got to get off work. Remember how when we were little, we wait on people outside the school, and we would just, what I'm
All the
saying.
time.
What? Okay, what happened to? I mean, come on, it's time. Come on, Marie, come on now. It's time until we. You know what? I think y'all has been waiting on us to do something, and we've been waiting on him, and he's looking at us like, nope, you got to start it, and you started, I got you. But if we don't start it, how he gonna finish it? We got to do something. We won't even take upon
Yeah.
ourselves right now to set up schools to teach our babies. They want to put my baby in a mask for 12 hours, 8 hours of a day. Are you freaking kidding? And then want me to sign a death certificate, a death warrant, a death clause? Are you crazy? You can't even wear a mask 8 hours a day. And you won't put my child in one? No. Black folk, I'm telling you, we got to get it together. We got to start. We have had a reset. We've had 4 months to reset. How many people, how many new businesses? I've seen maybe about 5 new black businesses come up. But I see them coming. I'm glad. I'm proud of you. Keep them coming. Group economics, but I want to see more. But I want us to support those black owned businesses. I don't just want to see them coming up. I want to see them packed out. I went past the Chinese shop today. Guess what I saw? Your cousins.
No, don't say. Don't say.
I wanted to get out of my car and I'm looking at them. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know what's it gonna take. I don't know what's it gonna take, Marie.
You know you'll do it though. We know you'll do it. At that you have that other Chinese restaurant.
I did. You're right. Okay, but I'm just saying. I think I'm so serious. I do believe that it's going to take us getting back to basics, coming back to educating our own children. That is the only way that it's going to work. And us being totally. And my thing is, I do believe that we are going to get this great exodus coming. Okay. And I do believe that this is going to be the biggest and the best thing for Black people to move back to Africa, to be around our Blackness, to kick the Chinese out of Africa, because everybody going back to their prospective homes. Everybody, even from America. America's going to get so bad that everybody is going back to their own countries. I'm serious, because we're in a place now where it is going to be destroyed. You already see right now that we have some stuff going on with COVID. And you've not seen the basics. This is just the beginning. But if we don't understand and if we don't get our mindset right, more are going to die, because it said 2/3 will die of Israel, 2/3. And those are the people like John Lewis, the coons, okay, that have sold us out. You looking at the Black Caucus, you're looking at the coons. And let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the coons like this Candace Owens and the Joy Reids, and who have sold their own out. But you have to understand, Joy Reid is isn't she like Jamaican, or she's from the Caribbean, from somewhere over there. I don't know, Jamaican, what? Yeah, somewhere over there. Okay, and a lot of those foreigners that have not experienced that slavery, whatever that we've gone through, then we really understand and recognize who white folk are. They will cape for white folk at any cost. Joy Reid is caping for white supremacy, and that makes me so sick. But guess what? 2/3 will die, and the people that are caping for white folk, that's really rooting them on and really going against their own and really up under them. And you thinking once we leave, you're gonna stay here and you're gonna be their favorite? You gonna die. If you stay here once we are gone, you're
No,
in trouble.
they always use you up and throw you back in the fire. They always.
Yes.
Always.
But we haven't learned that yet. We haven't learned that. What's it going to take for us to learn that? What's it going to take for us to understand that we have no friends? We have each other, and we don't even have each other. So we don't have nobody. Because you know, we can rely on certain people. But the ones that we're supposed to really rely on, and the people that are in charge of us, you can't rely on none of them Negroes to do what they're supposed to do. You can't even get the black folks to write a darn law that it would take 2 seconds for them to write. They want to bribe you. Give me your vote, you get a law. No, give me your vote, you might get a law. You might not. You're probably not, but just give me your vote anyway. But what you gonna give me? Well, what I've been giving you? Nothing. That's what you're gonna keep getting. Really? So have we not understood that yet? We've been voting for 1,000 years. I'm just, I'm stretching the numbers, but it feels like 1,000 years and getting absolutely nothing. Tell me why? Why do we keep doing stuff over and over and over and over and not getting any results? Why? You know the Democrat. You know their history. Have you read the history of the Democrat? Do you not know that during Reconstruction, the Democrat was the one that caused all of the problems in the South for black folk? Do you realize that? Black folk don't realize that. I don't even know when we became Democrats. And they keep saying, "Oh, Lincoln freed the slaves." Lincoln didn't give a crap about y'all black behinds. He was doing that just so that the North and the South wouldn't separate. He didn't care about y'all black folk. You think what is wrong with you? And they say that so often. Oh, Lincoln freed the slaves. Dummies, let me tell you, and I'm looking at the camera. He did not free you. He did it in order to stop the North and the South from separating. He could care less. He said, if I could leave them slaves, I would have. They were so serious about slavery that you had North and South, which was cousins and brothers, fighting and killing each other for your black behind to keep you in slavery. Ain't that something? That's how important you was, and that's how important we is today. But if we don't get our mindset right and stop allowing these white folk to use us for their benefits, and we put a price on it, this is what we will and this is what we won't do. We will vote for you as a collective whole. We get how many 40,000 votes, and we vote in a circle or whole. We don't separate. We vote as a collective whole, and we vote somebody that's going to have a black agenda, somebody's going to have a heart after black folk, and somebody is going to do something for you. If they don't have a promise for black folk, and I'm not talking about minorities, because anybody can be a minority. You can have a midget, you can have a woman. White women are mostly who they're talking about when they say minorities. You can have a midget. You can have a one-leg dog. You can have a one-leg person. You can have a woman that has one child. You can have anybody and call them a minority. If they don't say black, because I asked one man, and him and I were arguing about the Biden, his whatever plan, his plan for black folk. I said, did he say black or did he say minority? He said minority. I said, he's not talking about you. Anybody can be considered a minority, sweetheart. So don't get it twisted. He still has not made right his wrong, but you are still willing to give him your vote for nothing. You got it twisted. These people that lost their doggone mind. Maria, you're gonna make me cuss up in here. I'm trying to be good. I ain't even trying to holler today, but I'm about ready. I've got to let me get up in my seat so I can sit. I'm just like
we definitely have to watch the word salad. We're always tossed up in the word salad. I don't know why.
Yes. I'm just like, please, you got. Oh God, I don't know what's it gonna take. And our men, I don't know what's it gonna take to get them back on track. I don't know how.
I think it would be really interesting to hear a man's perspective. Is there a man online right now that would like to
Joshua
have a comment about this?
Joshua, call us. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear what you got to say. Hit the come on here, Joshua. Give us your. I'm gonna give you the link. Come on here so I can hear what you have to say. We have a man on here, I think, right? Do we have a man that want to come on? I put the link in the chat box. Come on, we need some men that's going to come on here and help us out, so they can tell us what is going on with these black men and these white women. Come on, I know you guys. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Okay, you guys, come on. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the man to call. But in the meantime, it's just so upsetting because what's it going to take, or what do you think it's going to take for us to get the men back on track? Where do we start? How do we get it back? How do we? And am I wrong to think that it's going to start with education? Or what do you think about that, Marie?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you know how I feel about it. Just based on what I've been seeing in these different institutions, I did compliance for a lot of permanent supportive housing models where the majority of the clientele were our people. And, they, under the guise of helping and assisting, the help and assistance comes in the form of getting a job at the grocery store, getting some shoes and some diapers for your babies, but no real support. And the thing that really made my antennas go up was the internal case management teams and the life skills classes that were offered had nothing to do with real empowerment.
No.
People didn't know where to start or how to lead themselves or guide themselves to better pastures, right, just based on the BS that they were giving them.
Right.
Very basic money management, very basic this and basic that.
It's always basic.
The white client, go ahead.
I said it's always basic. It's always basic. They never give you details on how to be free. Let's talk. But why would you expect them to? But with their own, what do they give them? What do they give them, Maria?
What they gave them is houses and nice little tucked away communities, and top-notch psychologists, top-notch assistants, and they go on a completely different track. And a lot of those people stay trapped in permanent supportive housing. And we see what's going on now with, what do you call the housing now that Ben's running? Well, they're dismantling all of it.
Yes.
And people are coming home with no support whatsoever.
Yes.
So it's just our responsibility to they already know we're great. They already know they've had to steal our minds, our time, our bodies, and everything else. Why do we expect them to give us anything that's quality?
Exactly. But we don't understand that. We still think that they're our friends, even though they've done, or even though if you go through history, you see nothing but negative, you see nothing but hate, you see nothing but horrible things that they've done to us. We still would look at them and say, my best friend is Becky. And I look at that, and I had a woman actually on my Facebook page, and her and I went back and forth with some words. And, she was saying that, how she was, had a friend and she was Becky and she just loved her. She was just such a great friend, and that just going on and on and on and on and on. It just made me sick. I had to say something, that. And she, was upset after I got done. And I said, but I guarantee you wouldn't have got this mad at Becky. I'm just saying. I told you truth. You got mad because I was truthful. But if Becky I guarantee you, if Becky had said something to hurt your feelings, you would have never said what you said to me, to Becky, at all. I'm serious. And this is what we have to do. We have to start appreciating each other. And it's going to take us doing it on purpose. But I still think that we need a class to help heal us. I think we need to be totally separate. I think when we do get to Africa, and that is where we need to be, I do believe that it's going to take us being totally separate from them in order to understand and appreciate us, and to get to love on us a little bit, and to get to understand that it's okay to love us. It's okay to be friends. It's okay to smile. It's okay to adore our blackness. It's okay to be black. It's okay to want to be. It's okay. We have to give ourselves permission to start loving on us first and foremost, period. Us. That's what it's going to take. It's not going to take you, loving on everybody else. Everybody else gonna love on, they doing good. They loving on themselves. It's gonna take us loving on us to get our minds straight. I'm telling you, education is going to take healing. It's going to take classes. It's going to take us on purpose looking at Black folk every day. And when we see somebody that's stuck in that old mindset, like I met this guy on Facebook that was talking about voting for Biden. And I said I asked him, I said, you part of that old civil rights has been, And of course he was. And I knew about his conversation. I said, it's time to be free. It really is. It's time to be free. And he was so sold out. I said, you don't even expect change, do you? You don't ever expect to come off the plantation because of the way you're talking. And you're stuck in the plant on the now those, like I told you, 2/3 will die. He's going to be the one. Seriously, because he's not going to leave massa. If they tell us to get out today, people are gonna say, I don't want to leave here. Where am I gonna go? I don't want to leave here. Why don't you want to leave? Why aren't you looking for a future in Africa? Why aren't you looking for a future amongst your own? Because this is where it's coming. This is if they tell you either get out, go back to Africa, or take that vaccine, be on first thing smoking, don't you? If I have to ride my bike there. If I have to build me a boat, I'm just saying. If I have to build me a boat, I'm just saying. I'm gonna be on the first thing trying to. If I got to ride a little bit and fly a little bit and get on a boat, the rest, I'm telling you, I'm out. I don't care how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start riding the bike though first. But I'm just saying, it's gonna take us doing what we need to do and it's gonna take us being free. Okay, it's gonna take us being free. We have not we really don't understand that we are in the last minute of the last second of the last day. We are right here, and it's time for us to be serious about us, to be serious about um, change, because we don't have anybody else. And I don't think we understand. I don't think we understand how serious that is. We don't have anybody but us.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's it going to
I
take.
think it's part of that
Go ahead.
that slave gene coming down in our DNA that makes us feel like, we resist. If we fight back, if we think for ourselves, we're going to get our feet cut off. We're going to get hung. You know what I mean? I feel like the punishment feels like it's going to be so great.
Yes.
And we can't take that.
And we're afraid to fight. We are I believe, I remember back in high school, we were ready. If you said something, you were white, you got your butt towed up. I'm just saying. We didn't take no crap. But now, where did the fear, when did we get so fearful? When did that start? I don't even know when it's almost like it creeped in on us. And it's just like, bam, I'm here. And we go, well, where'd you come from? And who are you? And we just looked. I told you I seen the cops fighting this white guy. I told you I seen a black guy just like helping. He was itching to help. And I said, look at him. I said to myself, he gonna help. And sure enough, 5 seconds later, he couldn't wait to get this black behind in there and help the cop, because the cop was getting his butt whooped by another white dude, right? And he couldn't wait to help. And I looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? Who does that? How many white folk would have did that if he was out there or on the ground fighting with a white cop? How many white folks would have helped him with the cop? I'm just saying.
None.
Exactly. So why was it his job to help? I've seen that before. A white cop and a black dude. Huh? Say again?
He was looking for those biscuits.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's so sad though. Oh, how are we gonna get that out of us? How? How long is it gonna take?
We don't. We have to isolate, and we have to just be with each other, and using the right tools to heal each other and move forward. And we really have to lock people out.
Yes.
There's a college here called Antioch College, and I went there for a presentation about there's a psychological something. But it was all about us going back to our own healing and our own roots to heal ourselves from post-traumatic stress and slavery and all of that. Yeah. And so, the majority of the people in that class were white people, and all they were doing in there was just taking our secrets, our energy.
Are you serious? It was a black class. Okay. Yes, okay, hold on. Okay, tell me the name of the.
Go ahead.
Tell me the name of the class again.
I would have to pull it up, but it was.
But it was a black class.
Psychological. It was all about us healing from all the slavery or the trauma from slavery.
And why was no black people in that class? I think that should be a mandatory.
Just a sprinkle.
Oh my God!
So I said all of that to say, and the teacher was amazing. I mean, and I was like, do they even understand understand. Her whole delivery was like Maya Angelou.
Wow.
You know, you sat there and you just felt like you were in the presence of an ancestor for real.
Really?
You know?
Wow.
And I was thinking, these people don't even have the capacity, honestly, to understand where she's coming from. They don't even have the same experience.
No.
But they're really there to steal. It's just there to take notes, steal, capitalize on it in a whole different way. So I said all that to say that when we get back to teaching each other, we have to keep everybody else out. And we don't care if you're offended or how bad it hurts, or you're mad, or you feel like we're discriminating, whatever. Carry on. You don't belong here.
Right.
You don't belong here because we can't deal with you in the space.
Right.
We just can't.
But how do we, and I do, to me, it's going to take us coming back to education. It's always going to be education, but how do we educate the adults?
Well, that's what we're talking about. Even in the educational space, you're not allowed here. That's why I brought up that university. They're actually teaching people, giving people licenses to come back around and teach us how to heal. And I'm like, you can't do that.
No, you can't. How are you going to, that's just like a dog trying to teach a cat how to heal, how to bark. I mean, that's just like a cat trying to teach a dog how to bark. You can't do that. That's not your culture. That's not your language. So how are you going to teach Black folk if you're white? How are you going to come into me? And how would you even have the nerve to try to, just like that one dude, Lucas, that disrespected Brianna. He said he had the authority to tell Black folk how to be Black. You're not even Black. So mind your own white business. Okay. That's my favorite saying from Vicki Dillon. I love that saying. But my thing is, how are you going to teach and train us to do anything? You don't even know what it feels like. You don't even know what it looks like to be Black. You're not Black. So how are you going to teach us anything? That's just like Biden telling us how to parent. It's just like Biden telling us how to parent when his son was on drugs. What? And I'm going to listen to you? What's the results of your parenting? We see the results of his parenting. So why would I listen to you when I see that your son is over there strung out and you're going to tell me how to do what? String mine out too? What can you teach me? I'm seeing your results. So again, what can you teach me? You're not even in my skin. You weren't even raised up in a Black household. So how are you going to teach me how to be Black?
They don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? And so many of them, and when they're not in their own spaces and places, because I'm always checking it out, I'm always looking if it's online or whatever, they're always going to be like, I'm so tired of hearing about this. Nothing is about race, or everything's not about
race. About race. It's always about race. Yes. Always. Every time we're involved, it's about race. And one guy, he'll go, oh, stop whining. You guys always whining. You always trying to play the victim. I'm like, well, dang, we are victims. And we still are victims. We've been victims since forever. And you won't allow us not to be. Pay us a check so that we can get the education, so we can get the heck up out of here, so that you don't have to worry about these whining victims anymore. That's what I'm saying. You paid everybody else. So why won't you pay us? Why can't you? Give me what's mine so that I can excuse myself from your dysfunction, so I can get the healing that I need, so that I can move forward. But they know
that they know they need us. That's so crazy. They know they need us.
Yes.
Otherwise, just never mind the shot. Just let us get on our planes and boats and go back.
Nope. Who gonna flip them hamburgers at Burger King? Who gonna flip them McDonald's burgers? Who gonna do that if we gone? Tell me who, them? Shoot, they gonna start eating their meat raw. If they have to work, they gonna start doing what they've been doing, eating their meat raw. Go out there catching the meat and start eating it. You know them lazy devils ain't gonna do nothing. Girl, please.
But you know what? That's an interesting point, because they've made us the bottom feeders.
Exactly.
And with all these farms closing, and the Latino community has taken over that market, with all that stuff going away, I'm really curious to see what we're going to be fighting each other for now.
I'm telling you, did you see Tyson's? How many employees just got sick? All of them? At Tyson's, the meat places, like 10,000, many workers. Lord. Yes, they just all like 10,000. Wasn't it like 10,000 workers that just got COVID and they had to shut down? So I'm telling you,
they're not even No, because they've been wanting to close down the agriculture everywhere across the world. I
Yes.
was looking at a map.
Yes, you
where
know
the
why they
biggest
doing it.
agriculture
You know why they
across
doing it.
the world.
It's not about them having COVID.
Yeah,
It's out, it's not, has nothing to do with COVID. They probably took a test and said they had it, okay?
Yeah.
Because all those tests are coming
Yeah.
back positive just so that they can make you. And I keep
Yeah.
telling people, this is, you better be storing up food. You better be gardening right now. You better putting stuff in that freezer. You better be collecting the canned goods. You better be getting sardines and little Vienna washing weenies or whatever, all this, whatever. I'm just saying, I know it's not healthy. I know you have my health person. You better get all the walnuts you can. You better get all that you can. I'm gonna say healthy for now, but I'm gonna tell you what, if I had to eat, I'm gonna eat some Vienna wash. I don't even eat Vienna sausages, but I'm just saying, if I didn't have anything else, those little weenies would look good. So I would have to eat one or two. I'm just saying, we have to start getting our mindset ready. We better start gardening.
Yeah, people have to know that you can actually grow your own food. If you don't have a yard, you got a windowsill, you can buy a grow rack and a grow light, and you can grow right in your personal space.
Yes, you can. I seen somebody with a pool, and they had one of them little baby pools, and they was growing right there in their house. They had their little extra room right there, and they had everything, and I guess they had the lighting and everything in that little room, and they was growing stuff right there inside of their apartment, because they said they had a little area, and they had a garden right there. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna tell you what, if I didn't have a yard, and I had an apartment, I would be growing me some food up in there. I would not be hungry. And I'm telling you what, you guys, I keep talking about this silver thing. I hope you guys are doing what you need to do. It's so important, because this is the reset. This is our time, and Trump is resetting everything. And I hope and pray that we are not waiting to go back to our jobs, not waiting for them to open up, not waiting on them, because we have to start being more proactive. We have to start seeing stuff, and we have to start actually moving into where it is we need to be in order to take our rightful places, family. We were waiting for them to put us back in our jobs, and we're waiting for the economy. We're sitting here waiting. And I'm like, why are we waiting? This is our time, and it's never going to be back the same way it was. This is our time to make a difference, to make things happen. This is our time to make a change. And we're sitting up there just as big and bold, looking crazy, like, well, I have my job. I still waiting on my supervisor to call me, and the company closed down. And and I'm like, well, dang, is there anybody that you know that I keep telling people? I'm involved in a group. I said, hey, if anybody want to turn $500 into 4,000, give me your email. I'll contact you and show you how. We can pool our monies together, and you can take that little $3,500 and go and let it ride and make you another one the next month or whatever, and put it together on a business. Or you can take the first one and open up your own business. Having your own business is not that hard, you guys. You just have to have the little bit of money. And if you want to, give me your email, put it in the comments, and I'll show you how to do it. But people will sit there and they're scared to try. That's the sad part about it. You'll put that out there, Maria, and people look at you like it must be a scam. No, if you want to make some money, I'll show you how. But you got to have money to make money. You can't make money. You cannot plant a seed with no seed. I'm just saying. So you cannot wait on an orange tree, an apple tree, if you ain't put no apple seed in the ground. You're gonna be sitting up there looking crazy. Well, I'm waiting on my apple tree. You're gonna be waiting for the next 100 years, waiting on the apple tree when you put a seed in the ground to grow, but you wait on the apple tree. That's about the craziest thing. When I hear people say, I want a business, I want a house, I want this, that, and the other. And I'm looking it up there. I'm like, what did you do to prepare for that house? What did you do to retire? Prepare for retire? What are we doing to prepare for anything of our future? Nothing. Then you're going to continue getting, the same thing you got last year. Everybody waits on the new year, right? And I'm like, well, what did you do to prepare for the next year? What are you going to do different next year than you did last year? And they look at you like, and I'm like, the same thing you got last year, you're going to get the next year because you didn't do the work. You have to do the work. In order to be successful, you have to do something. Period.
Yeah, we got to read. We got to, like, whatever it is. First of all, I want people to really figure out what their real talent is, what their real gift is.
Yes.
Don't just jump on something because it's a great money grab. If I see one more person put up a freaking site and saying that they're going to charge this fee, and they're not adding any kind of value or real support or real real benefit to the community,
Right.
don't do it.
Right.
Please don't. Please don't. Figure out what you're really good at, and then also learn how to speak their language, because they teach their children very, very early on where to put money, where to invest, how to grow, how to grow their money, and where to put it in order to be successful. Nobody is really trained to be somebody's employee. It's all the wealthy people will tell you, I don't get a paycheck. I own.
Yes.
I own this, I own that, I own a stake in this, I get residuals from that. Nobody is getting a little stupid paycheck anymore.
Right. So why are we studying? Okay, even when I tell people you're going back to Africa, you better have your own business, because they have no jobs. You better have something to go to. You have to have something to be created. And if you get into this little thing that I have, you'll have money to do your own business. But let's talk about one more thing about Zimbabwe. I saw where Zimbabwe was given $3 billion to these white farmers who they took the land from. And I'm like, why? They stole the land in the first place. That's just like how America did with the slave owners here. They gave them millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars. They paid the white folk, slave owners or slave catchers or masters. They paid them millions of dollars because they lost their black property. They paid them reparations, but you won't pay us reparations, because they know if they pay us reparations, we're gonna take that money and be gone. They already know. We are history. We are out of here. They already know that. So I think that's why a lot of what they know, because they know if we get our hands on that money, we will outdo them. They know it. They know it.
They did it smart. We've been buying Gucci and tennis shoes and hair and nails. I don't know what they really do, but a portion of us would. A portion of us would know what to do.
But I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to. I just want. I'm still coming up with the conclusion as far as where do we start to fix it? Where do we start to fix it?
I mean, it starts with ourselves. I mean, I think we're always looking for a leader, or we're always looking for some good white people to do something for us. But I really think it starts with you as an individual. We have to fix ourselves as individuals. We can start in our own households with what our standards are.
Yeah.
And let that bleed out. And from there, start to build a community of like-minded people. And people that aren't like-minded we're not rocking with you.
Yeah.
Period.
But we have to be honest, and we have to be ready for that, because I'm gonna tell you, back in the biblical days, if you didn't have the right mindset and you was all crazy, and I'm gonna tell you, I remember back in the biblical days, they talked about the exodus of the first Egypt, when the first Israelites left Egypt, they died. The ones that were not on code, they died in the wilderness. So, and I do believe that he will kind of separate the masses. I do believe that. But my thing is, we have to start here and now in order to begin that journey, in order to begin the mindset of wanting to leave and the mindset of leaving. Hey, I want you to hold on, because I am going to put Joshua on here.
Is he coming in?
Yes, he's coming in. Awesome. Hello, Joshua. How are you, sir? You're muted. You have to unmute yourself. You got to unmute yourself. Can you hear me, Joshua? You're muted.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
There you go. How are you? So how are you?
Let me pause. I had to. Okay. Now can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're good. Yes. How do we begin? Where do we start? And what's your take on this conversation?
So I've heard a lot. I've heard what you've been saying. Even the call on the phone and basics. Back to basics. Number one, what we need to do is actually stop engaging them, get our wealth, and come back home. Start from there. So we cannot keep saying that we want to do this, you're living in a white man's land, and you're claiming you want equality in a white man's land. It's not possible, You're seeing what they're doing to, like you said, Zimbabwe.
Mhm.
I was in shock when I even heard the news. Like, why are you giving them money? Like,
Yes.
the only successful bid we did is when Kenya went to the UK and actually took the UK to court, and the they paid the war veterans, I think, some sort of billions. So at least for
Mhm.
Kenya, they got at least something from it. So it was the reversal when I saw Zimbabwe paying the whites. Though I understand the game plan was that, the sanctions that have been imposed by UK and the US, the reason being, when Mugabe took over, he was like, I'm taking all the land and giving it to the black community. So the way he did it was what made the US and the UK actually sanction Zimbabwe. So I get this was more of a power play. Like, we want to please the West for them to ease the sanctions.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so,
But you have Africa, but Zimbabwe is struggling themselves. So you gave them billions of dollars that you're not even able to spend yourself? That makes no sense to me.
so like Zimbabwe has a lot of like gold. It has minerals. So it
Okay.
can actually, yeah. The only reason Zimbabwe is actually rich. The only reason Zimbabwe is where it is, it's because of the sanctions.
Okay.
Like
So it
the
was because of the
currency has been
sanctions that
rendered
they gave them
valueless.
that money. But guess what? It's getting ready to get back to where the gold and
Yeah,
silver is really super important and nationwide. So guess who's going to be on top again? Africa, because you guys have everything there. You have the gold, the minerals, and everything there that's needed. And that's who's going to be on top again, Africa, because they're getting ready to reset the economy. And the economy is going to be gold and silver and, diamonds and all that. But right now, Africa is going to be loaded, and it's going to be a great experience for Africa because you guys are already ready for that reset. So
did
you're
you did
saying
you
that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
okay, did you check what the latest rankings when they ranked the highest countries with the most gold reserves? You'll be shocked to hear that there was no African country, which is
What?
ironic given yes, given the fact that we mine gold, they don't. So how is it that you have more deposits of gold in your country than the country that actually produces? You're getting the script.
Yes.
You can check
Because
it. It's
they
there.
doing it on purpose. They're doing it on
Yeah,
purpose. You know that. That's
yeah, I
on
know.
purpose. So
Yeah.
that you guys don't understand that you guys are on top already because you guys look at the media and you go by what the white folk tell you. So of course you're gonna say, oh, they said we're not first, so we're not first. But Africa is first already. I'm telling you, I don't care what they say. I don't care any of that. You guys have the mining right there. If you just keep it in your own country, you guys will be good. But I want
I
I
mean,
want you to come back because I want to do a show on how do we I want you to help me to do a show. How do we recession proof Africa? I'm going to do a show and I want you
uh,
to help me out with that one.
about that, and I was asking, there was a time I was asking my friend. So the reason why they do not want Africa to be like a single country is precisely
Mhm.
because of that. You see, now they get to sanction Zimbabwe to bend into their will. You get?
Mhm.
But if it was Africa, there's no way out you can sanction a whole currency for 54 countries.
Right.
It will have been
Oh my
impossible.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
but if I
These
psych you
things,
out, I can. But if I make you believe that you're not the head and the lead, then I can psych you out. I can win that way also. And that's what they're gonna
exactly,
do. Try to.
exactly.
Oh my
So
God.
they
Ah,
cannot they cannot face Africa head on, but they can divide Africa, you know. So they
wow.
divide Africa, it works best for them. So imagine
Yes.
South Africa has plenty of gold there, Zimbabwe has
Yes.
minerals, Congo
Yes.
is filled with minerals, oil is in
Yes.
Nigeria, oil is in Libya. Africa is enriched with a lot of minerals. But
Africa has everything it needs. This is what I'm saying. Africa has
Child,
everything. There is no reason
everything.
for the people in Africa to do without anything. There's no reason.
My point
No
exactly.
reason. Oh
If
my
it's
God.
coffee, we produce the best coffee in the world. Kenya has
Yes.
tea. Like, we do not need the world.
Yeah.
Africa can
You're right.
survive on its own.
They need Africa, and Africa has to understand that. It's all about Africa. And if you guys understood that, you guys have them right in the palm of your hands, right where you want them. I'm telling you. But you got to get rid of some of those leaders. That's the issue right there. They're, backed by some crazy stuff. And you looking at black folk who's the lead, and you're not understanding who's backed behind them, pulling the strings and telling them what to do. So I'm telling you, it's you got it. It's that leadership. That's the thing about it right there. So what you're
And
saying,
Cassandra,
uh-huh.
hold on. And I'll also add on to this. So, like I was saying, the way forward is, you see, like right now we have the East African, we have the West African, and we also have the SADC, South African Development countries. So,
Hmm.
like, if we can all get the heads of those countries, like in East Africa, you get Kenya, in Southern Africa, you get South Africa, and in the northern and the western part, you get those countries. Sit them together, make them understand the fact that you're the leaders of these corners of Africa. You need
Uh-huh.
to understand that the policies we make for Africans must
Hmm.
be for Africans, you know. And a
Hmm.
challenge to the Black Americans out there. The whites are coming in, they're investing, they're taking these companies, the mining, the oil, they're getting the contracts. Yeah. Because we do not have the black folks who are saying, I want to go to Africa and mine.
Right.
I want to go to
Yes.
Africa and be that engineer that I know I can be in Africa. We're still
Yes.
stuck in US mentality, which does
Yes.
not help us.
That's true. That's true. But if we can now, okay, so let's look at that. How do we get everybody on code? The Black Americans and the Africans together. Because with us together, oh my God, can you imagine the impact? Can you imagine? And that's what they don't want. But you have black folk coming, the Americans are coming now. They're coming back in droves right now. So, but how do we get them to come together and um and do it together? How do we do that?
Okay, so my solution would be this. So, say, consider you're good in, say, um, business, right? Maybe in finance. So you can come, say you come to a country like, say, Kenya. So you know you are proficient in financial transactions. You know where strength lies. So you come to Kenya. You can start by having the seminars, empowering, and giving them programs. You don't go to these big hotels and do the seminars where again you attract the rich people. You go to the grassroots, you know,
Okay.
where they need the education the most. You know, you give them the programs. They see them working, they adapt. You know,
I
and
got
becomes a
you. Yeah.
cycle. Yeah, it becomes a
So it
cycle.
comes back to education.
Yeah, yeah, it
It's
goes back
always
to
coming
education.
back to education. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Enlightenment is something we take for granted,
Hmm.
you know.
Yes.
So we
And
need
I
to
think we
enlighten.
have to get the mindset back to Africa. I think even with the African Americans, it's time for us to get our mindset to understand that it's time for us to come back. It's time for us to invest in Africa. It's time for us to start, providing services and doing what we, like you said, bringing our gifts home. Because it's time. It's time. This is the time. You have people coming back in droves right now, and I do believe that once we come back, in order for us to support us, we can run the Chinese out of business. Yes, they're there, but if we don't support them and we support each other, just say for instance, if I have a business and you have a Chinese guy with the same business, you come and support me, we'll run him out of there. So guess what? He can't survive. If we don't support him, he can't live. And if he can't, his business won't thrive. He's got to go back, right? So
True,
that's
true,
how we
true.
do it.
And
That's
that
how
is
we
why I'm
do it.
saying, like, and that is why I'm
Hmm.
saying we need to identify. So when we're coming to Africa, you need to identify like what is the need. Do they
Uh-huh.
have roads? We as Black Americans who are coming to Africa, do we have engineers who can make quality roads at a cheaper price and employ only Africans? You know, so those are the you identify the need, and then you find the Black folks who
Right.
have the either financial backing, and then they
Right.
come. We register the companies, we give them the contracts.
Right.
You know,
Our own.
exactly. So,
Our own.
yes, our
And the ones that
our
don't know, we train them. We
we
train
train
them
them
and we
exactly.
hire them. Long as we hire our own, we can do this. But if we're giving it, to the Indians, to the Chinese, to the whoever comes that's not black, then that's when we cut our own throats. And we don't partner with anybody unless they come and we have this is what we want you to do. You can't come here and give us whatever and you tell us what to do with it. And right now, I don't think we should partner with anybody right now but our own. We can do this. We can do this
Let,
because when you bring other people in, then they want to tell you what to do with it. We don't want you coming and telling us anything. So you stay over there. You stay in America. You stay in Britain. You stay in France. You keep doing what you're doing over there, and let us black folk come together and do what we need to do in order to grow and to come together and start loving on each other and healing. Because we can't
exactly.
we can't have anybody else coming in right now. We are so broken right now that we don't have any room for anybody else but each other. Period.
And
And I think that's where it comes from. Go ahead, John. I'm
also
sorry. Go
throw
ahead,
your
Joshua. I'm
challenge.
sorry.
Also throw your
I'm sorry.
challenge.
Yes.
Okay, so have you ever seen a Japanese guy building a road in the US?
No.
Exactly my point. The
I'm like,
US is
no.
exactly, it's protecting its own interests, you know? So, like the same with the Chinese, you do not find any white engineers building skyscrapers for the Chinese, you know? So
Exactly. So
why should we
what
as
is
Africans?
exactly? You are so right. So that's the key right there. If you don't know, we learn and then we boot them out and we do it ourselves. Because you have people, black folk that know how to build roads. We have people here that know how to build all that stuff. We have our own that can do that. So we bring that service to Africa and we grow from there. And that's the only way. And like you said, and it comes back to educating our own children. And it's going to start with the new generation because you're gonna have some old folk that's hard to learn. Now I don't know what you're gonna do with them. You may have to send them back to America. We're gonna send them the coons back to America because they're very dangerous. Okay, I'm just sorry. You guys keep the coons here. We're gonna let the coons stay, and the ones that want to deal with black folk and be black first, you come on and let's do what we need to do. But we don't have any room for coons, and we might have to do some jungle justice for them or street justice or something. But they can't stay because they're very dangerous to the family. If they don't have that black first mindset and a black heart, they're very dangerous. So we don't need any coons in the family right now.
And also, there's something you need to understand. It's something we usually tend to overlook, which is actually very important. So, like, say you're very talented, you've hit the top, but here's where they come in again. They get you to
Uh-huh.
get to the top because they know they cannot stop you. And then, if you're a guy, they make sure you marry to their race. So the wealth generating does not actually go back to the blacks, it reverts back to the whites. And they give you
Yes,
endorsements, they make you very rich. Only that all
yes,
that money, when you divorce with her, half of your property goes to her for just being
yes,
there, and it's all white. I'd
yes,
rather it goes to a black woman who will also go and empower her own family. It will have a trickle down effect, but at least
yes,
it will stay within the race. We are
yes,
still
yes.
rich as a
And you're
race.
so right. You are so right about them offering, just like here in America, you have our ball players, NBA, and the ones that have money, the movie stars. What do? They marry white women, they marry Jewish women, and it's on purpose. It's done on purpose. It's done on purpose. And that's the sad thing, because they're so brainwashed right now. It's just like if they have money, they automatically go to a white woman. And that's the sad part about it. But I'm looking at them and I'm like, you guys are so far gone. I don't know if you can bring them back around. I don't know what it's gonna take to bring them around. If they can even be helped. I don't think they can be helped right now. I don't.
And the funny
What do you
part
think?
is even they move to the white neighborhoods thinking that money has changed their skin color. You know,
Yeah. Is that really what they think? Strange fruit. Maria, what do you
like
think
they
about
forget,
what we're
they
saying? What do you
forget.
think?
Because a black billionaire will pass by you like you're a black folk. You know,
Hold on. He was saying that the black. Can you hear him on okay on the phone? Can you hear him? I have her on the phone on.
I'm catching snippets, but not the whole statement.
Well, I'm gonna need you to come in on my live here. He was talking about black women. I mean, black men marrying the white women, and how the color. It's almost like that money is that because they have think they're coming up. That now they're mostly thinking they're white. They've arrived. And that's not true. It's like you've went backwards. Okay, instead of you marrying your bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, you've just married a dysfunctional zero, and you don't even understand that you have just married into a nothing. And I always say this: nothings call themselves somethings, and somethings call themselves nothings. And that's exactly what I see when I see one of them. I think I'm gonna make that on a t-shirt because I really do believe that. And we have to understand that it is time for us to we don't have any help. We don't have anybody else that really care about us. So we have to care about us. It's almost like we don't even care about us. We don't even care if we live or die. We have got to change our mindset to understand that if we don't care about us, nobody's going to care about us. We can die off today, off tomorrow, and nobody will care. They'll bury us, put us all in one lump hole and bury it and keep moving and be glad that we're gone. So we have got to get to the place where we are changing our mindset. And it has to start, like you said, with the education. It's going to start with us doing some things, and others will catch on. And the ones that don't catch on, we're going to ship them back to America. That's all to it because they can't stay.
That's all
yeah,
to it. But yeah, piggybacking off of what Joshua said, um, sickness, 90 seconds. Sickness. You don't realize that you're just a pet to these people.
Yes.
You're just a pet. And that I think as soon as we understand that we're not just talking smack. We're not good at sports by chance. We really are, our genetic code is completely different. Our genetic code is completely different. Our pineal glands, we can do things to calcify them, but for the most part, our pineal glands have been functioning, right? And so, and you really are dealing with somebody that is not made from the same essence as us.
That's true.
It's not just about us having a nicer shape. We are not made the same. So you really truly have downgraded. They're not even getting the same
Value.
downloads from the universe or even our ancestors either. You're not getting any of that from them.
That's right. So, but you have to understand, it's all about the brainwashing. It's something that the subliminal message that they've gotten from childhood, that to have white is better. To have white, they look better, they act better. It's the brainwashing. That's the subliminal message that our children are getting every day. When you deal with them every day, they're making themselves. They're teaching your child how great they are and how nothing we are. And we hear it even in kindergarten. I heard it from kindergarten to 12th grade, different ways. And then we watch TV, and what you saw the black woman with the white man, and vice versa. And it's the role reversal, and you see everything negative. You see black folk on drugs. You see us, we're hoes, and we got pimps. We're on drugs, and it's everything negative. Who's doing a crime? Black, black, black. But not understanding that most of the crime is done by them, the violent crimes. Okay, you might have us doing a little whatever, but the murders and the really, really, really harsh crimes, the FBI have already said it's them. It's what 89% or something, and it's 20% of them in jail. But it's what 40% or 50% of us doing crimes, but what 90% are in jail. I mean, come on, we have to understand that.
Well, that's what's so interesting.
Yes.
The fact that their pineal gland is mostly calcified means that they lack emotion, that
Yes.
they have more capacity to be violent. I mean, they're actually the more dangerous ones.
Yes.
All day long.
Yeah, and they commit the most dangerous crimes.
They behave in a terroristic way all the time, and that's why they were able to so easily do all that crap they did to us just in slavery alone.
And it just wasn't us. It was the Indians too, because you have to understand. Let's go back to the Indians. You have to understand they devoured the Indians. The Indians, they pretended that they were their friends the same way they did us, but they just couldn't, they couldn't devour us. But the poor Indians, they devoured them. They showed them how to cook and clean and do everything they needed to do, and then they killed them. They showed their,
the truth is,
Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
No. They showed.
Well, they're global terrorists. Everywhere they go, everywhere they step foot, they
Exactly. So I think it's going to end up being about the education is where we start, and us having those classes, and those, and us just putting a code of behavior on the books. We have to start teaching adults code of behavior.
Yeah,
we have to
be solid.
Yes.
I mean, whatever we put together for each other has to be. We really have to. Because part of the reason why we don't trust each other is because we half-ass do things for each other that we wouldn't half-ass do for other people or other groups. You know what I mean? Like, we really have to take ourselves very seriously and do it very different than the way whatever they've been spoon-feeding us, we got to do it different.
Totally.
And we really got to make sure it's fortified, it has value, that it's laid out in a way that people can see why this is an amazing thing that my kid was never going to get in their school.
Right.
Besides a fake, corona damn,
Exactly.
diagnosis.
Pandemic. Yeah.
And then Sunny West die on top of it.
So it's going to take us just.
The fact that they're using our kids as weapons going back to school is crazy. I mean, because that's what he's doing.
Yeah. But we allow it. We're okay with that. We're okay with us, our child sitting up in class 8 hours out of a day in a mask when it's not. Come on, better than that. There's no way those kids are gonna sit up in class and not breathe on each other and cough in each other's face. You know better than that. So that's crazy right there. So I do appreciate you guys.
But I think we're exhausted. I'm sorry.
Say again. I'm sorry. Say again.
Sorry.
Say again.
No, I'm thinking that we as a people must be exhausted, and that's why we can't really step up. It's like we're trying to survive, we're trying to raise our kids, we're trying not to be killed. I mean, there's just so many things that are stressing us out from all directions. And I think whenever we do come together to educate our kids, it really has to be a village concept, to kind of take the pressure and the heat off of each other. Pardon me.
I believe.
What I mean?
I believe that.
I think we're exhausted. I mean, that's all I can come up with. We're tired. We're tired of because from every direction we're being attacked. In every direction we have to be on guard. We have to protect ourselves. We got to double guess and double think everything that's coming our way. And you know what I mean? After the Willie Lynch letter, we are truly being attacked in all directions, and I just think we're tired.
What do you think about that, Joshua?
So we are being attacked from all fronts, and how they're doing it both hard and soft ways. So say when you're a kid, what is the first thing you see? It's a cartoon, but that cartoon is not of your complexion. The kid grows up knowing that white is good because of what has been put in the media right from when he or she was a kid. So the first person you see is a Barbie. That Barbie is not black. She's white. She's blonde. This is a kid who's growing up, braiding a blonde young lady, putting her own makeup. So the thought process, So when you grow up, you think like, white is supreme, white is everything. So you get that brainwash that you're talking about. Goes to the movies, they it's subtle, but it's very effective. Because when you're a kid, you're saying, me, I want to be like that Barbie, you know, and that Barbie is of a white kid. And we are not seeing these things when you're leaving your kid to watch cartoons, you're not necessarily looking at what they are watching. There's no content for blacks to consume. Even the cartoon, they are not there. Hollywood is not going to focus on blacks. You know, they are focusing on their own. The story, there's a script that they are following. We
Yeah.
want these guys to think, act like us. You know, and if we continue letting it happen that way, we have our own. We can make our own movies.
Yeah.
We can go to the villages, find the stories, tell them. Bring those kids from the United States. Bring them, take them to the village. Let those grandmas and grandfathers tell them the stories. Let them learn firsthand. You know,
Yeah.
this thing about a white
You're right.
man coming to the village, writing a book, and then selling it back to you, to learn African heritage written by a white man does not make any sense
No.
at all. You know, so we need to take charge of even our own stories are being told by the whites. It does not make sense. We need to take charge. Like I said, we start from the beginning, basics. What is your heritage? What were we like? Get it back, own it. Be proud of it. So like people are buying Gucci's. When you become rich, you run to Gucci's, Fendi's. These guys don't care about you.
No.
Why are you why are you not going to look in the internet? Look for that black guy who is making those brilliant, brilliant fabric clothes
Yes.
from
Yes.
Africa and wear them
Yes.
proudly. You know,
Yes.
you are waiting for that guy, Gucci comes to
Yeah.
Africa, gets that guy's clothes,
Yeah.
stamps Gucci on them, and then you
Mm-hmm.
buying them at 10,000, I mean, 10 times the amount you could have bought
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
You know, so we need to be smart even about our economics.
Yeah.
If it's clothes, let's switch that mindset and say we are buying black. You know, we are done with Fendi, we are done with Gucci's. Let the whites buy Gucci's. It's their own brand. Let the Italians buy them. We
Yeah.
can make our own suits. The Italians do not make cotton. Cotton is made in Africa.
Yep.
They ship them as raw material. It's sent back as a suit worth
Wow.
$10,000. You sold your cotton at maybe $300.
Yeah.
We need to be smart. Let's add value to our products.
Yes.
Casidra, we
Yes.
produce raw beans that are taken to Europe. They are processed there. The coffee is sent back, sold at a premium.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
And there's plenty of opportunities for people here to get
Wow.
them out. You know, you hear Kenya is making billions of tea, but you do not understand that half of that money does not even belong to Kenya. It goes to foreign accounts.
Yes.
You know,
I heard France, you guys give them 500 billion a month goes to
okay,
France monthly.
so let me tell you about that. So like the French speaking countries, so they have that franc. So what they did with French is that all their money, 90% of their entire income goes
Uh-huh.
directly to France central bank.
Oh my
So
God.
from there, the money again is distributed however they want it. So they can earn interest on it while it is there. They have done
Wow.
nothing. They give every year 500 billion goes to their account. And this is in dollars. Imagine
Wow.
that amount of money, what it can do.
Yes. Can you imagine if Africa kept that money for themselves? Can you imagine
500
everything that could
billion.
be produced? through Africa. Africa shouldn't have to go and produce anything from anywhere. You could make it right in the house. There is no reason for people to be unemployed in Africa. You can make everything you need right there. It makes no sense. Some of the stuff that's going on, it's to keep the people poor. It's to keep you begging, to keep you wanting. And you shouldn't have to live like that. You guys are millionaire, trillionaires and begging. That makes no sense to me.
And that's what I'm saying. And that- and
Wow.
that's what I'm saying,
Go ahead.
Cassandra. We have a
Uh-huh.
chance here. We have a chance here. We have
Yes.
You guys are willing to come. You're willing to invest the money. And I'm telling you, there is plenty of opportunities. We can push them out. You know, I'd
Yes,
rather
we
buy
can.
I, I'd rather buy a tea bag written made from Kenya, as in with that trademark, rather than the one that is made from UK. It's the beans, the
Yes.
raw material are coming from here. Why am I being told that that one is more premium than the one that I saw? Like it is me. I poured water on that bean. Hmm? We need to be smart about things. They're playing with our psychology. You know, anything they touch for them,
Wow.
it's gold. But the same product you touch, it is dust. You know, so they're playing mind games. You look at right now in Kenya, we have that which you call private public partnership.
Hmm.
This is whereby, say, individuals like you can, maybe the government is wants to build a road, right? So you can take that
Hmm.
project up and say, okay, I can finance the project, I can look for the contractors and make the project come to life. So the government gives you the go ahead. So you go ahead,
Oh, wow.
build the road, and then you can toll it. Okay, so you
Wow.
can toll it. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can keep collecting the money until you recoup and get your profits. You know. So there's
Yes.
that innovation that is going on. We have
Yes.
solutions. You know.
Wow, there are some. I want you to come back. I want you to leave me with some information, because I want you to come back because I want us to talk about, and it's probably going to be within the next 2 weeks. How can we recession-proof Africa? Because we're getting ready to go through a global reset, and if Africa is not ready, it's going to be in trouble. And you have so much stuff there that you could be using right now with the gold and the silver, and if you don't get it, if you don't purchase it, if you don't have it, you're going to be in trouble because they're getting ready to leave money. The fiat is that it's going to be done here in America. Right now,
Yeah,
we're
the
going
fiat.
through that right now. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and that is why I also need the caller to. I don't know her name. You haven't told me her name.
Maria. Her name is
Oh,
Strange Fruit
oh,
Maria.
oh. It's strange fruit. Okay, okay, hi. So like to be honest, you find a lot of governments in Africa do not foresee the future. Like they do not have that emergency fund. You know, they just operate on a daily basis. Like let's do it for today. We don't know what tomorrow
Oh,
brings.
wow.
That is
Wow.
financial management. You know, you
Oh,
have to think
God.
ahead 100 years. Like, can we survive without any other country for 100 years? So you think like that, you start planning for it. So when recession hits, you've actually isolated yourself from
Oh,
such an
wow.
eventuality.
Oh, my
Yes.
God. Yes. Wow. We're going to talk about that. We're going to make that another show. But I really, any closing words that you wanted to bring up, Joshua, about the black and white issue, dating outside of marrying and dating your enemy. And Maria, you're going to be next. Any closing words for you? Because we've been doing this for about 2 hours and Blog
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
is going to kick me off.
yeah.
I do
So,
appreciate you guys joining, though. Go ahead.
uh, so Cassandra and Strange Fruit Maria, I want you guys to understand this. If you're not getting married to an African, please stay single for the rest of your life. Do not take that wealth. Do not take that wealth to them. I'm serious about this. Do not.
I know.
Because this
I
one,
totally
do
understand.
not.
Yes, you're right.
Stay single. At least the money circulates here. Hmm?
Well, are you married, Joshua? Because I have a mate for you already. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So I'm very single.
Maria.
So So
Where's Africa is he from?
What part of Africa are you from, Joshua?
I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
He's from Nairobi, Kenya. Wow, we're going down there.
Oh,
Some
okay.
part. It's coming up. Our trip is
What's
coming
that
up.
podcast?
What'd you say,
Yeah,
Maria? What'd you say, Maria?
I said,
I
well,
was
we're gonna
supposed to
cross
meet with
paths because we're moving to Kenya, right?
We'll be crossing paths. Yes, we're gonna
oh
stay in
yeah,
touch. But yeah,
no
but go
worries.
ahead.
So
Anything else
okay,
you want to share with us
yeah,
before we go?
So yeah, so like that is that we've agreed on that. Um, Secondly, let's always plan like everything we do, every single move you make, even when you're there as a Black American, think of how you can empower the next African. You know, if you're starting a business, look at the chain of supply that you can get from your Black folks. You know, so you might be a supermarket owner. Get your products from other Black people. You know, if you're to import, don't go to China, go to Africa, find the same quality product. You know, protect the race wealth. You know, so I
Absolutely.
always give examples of the Indians, the way they do not allow any other race to marry their women. They do not encourage intermarriages at all. You know, their wealth remain their wealth. You know, the same script with the Somalis. They tend to have that communal wealth, whereby if I'm rich, I'm going to employ the next poorest Somali to my business. So in that sense, I lift him up. You know, if he's smart enough, he takes the advantage and build himself up. So the chain repeats itself, and you find them being very wealthy. You know, so as Africans, we should always think like that, like we are being attacked from all corners. They are not our friends. No one is your friend.
That's right.
If he's not black, he's not your friend. And I've had a lot of, and I've seen a lot of clips of whites saying black. I mean, being African is not being black. They are already. It's true. It's all over the place. Like that is the new slogan: "Is African black?" And you find them arguing. You're as white as snow, but you're claiming you're black as charcoal.
Oh.
They're there. I can even give you can even go check. And then there's one thing they usually portray, and that is what makes probably Cassandra and Maria not to invest or even come to Africa. The image they portray. If you
Yeah.
look at even the videos I'm starting, I want to start posting videos of, you know, the places. Like if you go and look the way Nairobi is, just type Nairobi city. You
Yeah.
look at the way it is not what they portray on CNN. You know, they will
Right.
give you
Hey,
slang.
Josh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but do you have a web page? Do you have a Facebook page or a web page or something? You said you're going to post
no, no,
photos, right?
it's a channel, just a small channel that I just opened the other day. It's a YouTube channel that I do have. I want to just, when I walk around, I just take short videos and then just to show the places around. Like,
What's the
this
name
is
of
not,
it?
it's just my name. You just type my name, Joshua Ira. It will give you on YouTube, you'll find me.
Oh, okay. What's your last name? I'm sorry, Joshua. What's your last name?
Joshua Oira, Oira.
Okay. O-R-I. Okay. I got it. I will look it up. I will look it up. Yes, I will look that up. But you're
I've
right.
sent you.
Totally,
Yeah,
everything you said, you're totally correct. We have to be black first. And that's what it's time to do. It's time to change our mindset. And I see Jay says we need to decolorize our minds, which is so true. We have to. It's mandatory. So
no
anything
one
else that
is
you
your
want to
friend.
add, Joshua?
Yeah, just finishing up. No one is your friend.
Mhm.
Always act like you're on a battle zone. Always checking who is after you. You know, keeping your interest first. You know, you see the way US is going after China because of its interests.
Hmm.
Why shouldn't Africa, you know, protect you? We have all the natural resources in the world. We come together, we find a formula that works best for us. Ghana is leading the way. They are making their own chocolates.
Hmm.
They have their own diamond factory. So they ship it as finished product. You see? So we can do
Wow.
that. This thing we can do
Yes.
it. So if we,
Yes.
but our unfortunate part is that it is owned by a white. But that can change,
Yeah,
with
we
the
got to
government.
change that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to change
So
that. We come
the
in and
same
we're
applies.
running them out of town. I'm telling you now. We are running them out of town when we get there. So all of their little businesses, we coming, you support black, and we run them out of town. Plain and
Exactly.
simple.
Black builds black.
That's
Black
right.
builds black.
That's
Just on
right.
a final note, don't forget. Also, I tell Maria to go and look up what happened in Tulsa. Sorry. You know what happened to Tulsa?
In Tulsa. Yes.
Yeah. You know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Exactly. So for those who don't know, they should go and check what happened. We were wealthy, very wealthy. They
Yes.
were like so envious
Yes.
to the point whereby they manufactured s- just a small thing that could have sparked our all-out race war, which they
Yep.
succeeded with. So we need to protect. We need to protect. Africa is our motherland. Consider no one is gonna chase you from Africa. Reason will be what? You are an African, you know. So no one is gonna chase you from Africa, but they are going
Wow.
to chase you from the white man's land. You know, start
Wow.
investing in Africa.
Isn't
Yeah?
that
And my
something though? Isn't
my challenge
that
to
is that is just so amazing because what you said is so true. They will never, we will never trust chase anybody from Africa, but they'll chase you and they'll treat you like crap in China. I've seen some of the videos and I've seen how they treated our African brothers and sisters. And for me here in America, I will not buy anything that Chinese made. I won't eat Chinese food. I'm not going to their beauty supply places. They will not see a dime of my precious gems, period. And I just don't, I don't even want to walk past their stores because they're not getting any money, any of my hard-earned money, because it made me so upset. And if it's like this, if you hurt my brother in Africa, then you've hurt me. So guess what? I'm not going to support you. And I wish a lot of Black Americans would be like that. Maria, I'm going to have to ask you to come on to YouTube page, because I'm going to have to shut down on Blog Talk because they're going to shut us down on Blog Talk. But we're going to talk just a little, about a few minutes more on YouTube. So transfer over to YouTube, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
she's
okay.
coming.
But like I said, it's just amazing, because we have to get our mindset corrected, and it's time for us to support us and be serious about supporting our own. And that's not what we're doing now. We're not thinking about supporting our own. We're thinking about supporting everybody else. But hold on, give me 2 seconds, Joshua. Blog Talk, I do appreciate everybody that tuned in. We are going to log off. Thank you. We're here every Thursday night. And if you want to continue the conversation, come on to YouTube. And the same title is on YouTube. And the title is Dating, Marrying Your Open Enemy. Look us up on YouTube and feel free to come on and join us on YouTube. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And with that, we'll see you next week and have an amazing night on purpose. Blog Talk. So yeah, I had to get off of Blog Talk.
Blog Talk Radio.
So yes, it's time for us to really think about the future and think about the damage that we are creating now without us coming together as family. We've allowed the Chinese to become millionaires here in America, with our American products, with the hair and the, we have black hair, we wear a weave, and we wear the nails, and we wear their makeup, and we wear everything in everything China, which is crazy. We've made them billionaires, and we still can't own our own hair supply place because they've shut the market down. So it's for, we can't even get into that market to buy anything. They won't allow it, which is sad. But we've made them billions of dollars. And that's because we're so unsure of ourselves. and they won't give you a loan here in America to own your own business. We'll support the Chinese, we'll support the Indians, we support the Pakistanians, we support the 7-Eleven, we support everybody else but our own. And we have been so brainwashed, but it is time for us to come on and bring it back home. And it's time for us to be black again and to love our own and to love being black. And that's what it's going to take us doing it on purpose, because for years we've been brainwashed, for years, not to love our own, not to support our own. And that's it's time for us to get back to I don't want to say normalcy. I want to say get back to ourself, get back to our self love, get back to our black love, get back to us being black again, and dating all this, just we just dating this one and dating this one and having babies. That's you're mixing your seed, and you're giving that precious jewel away, and you don't even understand the damage that you're doing. You're helping your enemy to survive. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to continue allowing helping our enemies to live. They need us to live. We don't even understand that. Without us, brothers and sisters, it won't be them, because they give them what 2000 20 what 54 20 something, not even that far away, and it won't be any more of them without our help. So why don't we come on back home? What do you say to that, Joshua?
I'm saying you are already late. You should get your plane ticket. Oh, you've not seen what they have done the other day. Um, I think Tanzania just got its first batch of tourists, and you can imagine it's a KLM flight, and you
Uh-huh.
can imagine how many got off that plane. It was full. So it begs the question, what's going on? Because now they're saying travel advisories, but then there are a lot of them landing right now as tourists.
In Tanzania.
Yeah, so us, we're being told stay in the house, but the tourists are coming in, which does not make any sense.
Are you serious?
It's totally insane because now even the government of Kenya is saying it's allowing flights from China. Yet it's telling
Oh,
us we need to stay in. If the COVID increases, it'll be like we're going to shut down. And we're thinking, why would you even allow a plane coming from the epicenter and telling us
right,
if it increases, you're locking us down?
right.
Business are shutting down. The Chinese are buying up businesses. This is why we need you guys to come in at this particular time. You know, I saw the other time Intercontinental is shutting down its hotel for 45 days. These are opportunities for people to come in, buy the shares, push them out. Mm.
Wow.
Check
So
policy.
they're telling us to stay home, but they're allowing the Chinese to come in. Ain't that something?
Exactly. I'm baffled. I'm trying to figure out what is going on, and it's confusing because it doesn't make any sense. You cannot
Wow.
allow from an epicenter a plane to come land in your own country, and you're telling your own citizens to stay in the house because of transmission, but you're allowing the visitors to come in and do business?
From
How does
Yes,
that even
from
work?
where it started. Yes, from where it
Yeah,
started.
from where it
Wow.
started. So I was
Wow.
like, whatever it is happening, I'm twisting people. They've bought the politicians. So we need people like you to come in. We can influence policies if we have strong institutions. So, like, say,
Yeah.
Casidra, say, like, let's say you have, like, you've mobilized people who want to see real change, support one candidate, push the agenda forward, finance that person to get to where you guys want them to get, to
Yeah.
effect the change that we want. It's what they are doing out there. You know, we need to
Wow.
learn from their own game and beat them at it.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of
Yep.
sitting down and crying corruption, corruption. What are we doing about that corruption? You know,
Exactly. Exactly. It's time for
we
us
need
to
to
do something.
like
It's
yeah,
time for us
we,
to trust us, and it's time for us to do what we need to do for us. We've too for too long we've gotten hoodwinked, we've been blinded, we've been used and abused. So now it's time for us to come together and get the healing that we need and bring it on in, because this integration thing is not working. It's not worked and since forever for us. We just didn't know it. We were the only ones that didn't know it because we were still trying to integrate with our enemies, and we didn't understand that we had frenemies among us. Okay, we didn't understand that, but now that we hear loud and clear, and this is why I'm trying to um, bring attention to what needs to be done. This is why I'm trying to bring attention to the new. I'm trying to bring attention to what needs to happen. As far as sometimes we know, but we don't really know. So maybe if we see it in the public or in if we see it, then that'll help us to understand that, yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem, and we need to fix it, and we need to fix it now. And like you said, we need to be in Africa as ASAP. But I do believe that eventually, if we come, um, they'll have to go because we won't. If we have the right mindset, we will run them out by not supporting, and that's the way we run them out, by not supporting their businesses. And we tell, it's jungle justice. You support, we take care of you. You have to learn how not to be cooning around. You have to learn how to love your own, and you have to learn that we are all we have, and you support your own. And we will not support a stranger, and that's what we have to tell and show each other. We will not support strangers, and we will deal with the ones that's not on code. It's time for us to get back on code and understand what's important. And we are important to each other, and love is important, and we are family, and families stick together. And this is what we have to start teaching our children, because like I said, you have adults that have learned, how not to rock with each other. So now it's time for them to either relearn it or we deal with them. Plain and simple. That's the only way. Because like I said, if you have coons and they're not on code, they're very dangerous to us. They're very dangerous. And it is time for us to understand that and deal with them. Okay.
And and
But
I was
uh-huh.
and I was
Go ahead.
I was also asking. So you find the blacks intermarrying with the whites, and you ask yourself, fine, you've done it. So you've created a different race. This race does not have any heritage, doesn't know where they belong. Are they white? Are they black? How do they even identify themselves? You know?
Uh-huh.
So like you need to keep it pure. If it's white, let them stay white. You know? If it's black, appreciate your beauty. You know?
Right.
Beauty is relative. There's no
Right.
standard measure for beauty. You know? Only a fool can say there's a standard measure for beauty. You know?
Right.
Black is beautiful, you know. And if you go way back to the modern days, the olden ages, you'll be told that African woman gene is the only gene that has all the ingredients for like the variation of the genes. The whites do not have it. It can only be found in a black woman. So like, why even degrading yourself, given the fact you've been given everything? The source of life is the black woman, not the white
Yeah.
woman, the black woman.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
we need to go back and sit down and realize that we've been played. We have
Yeah.
the power, but we've been blindfolded to the point whereby we don't see we have it. You know, Africa is a huge, huge market. Africa has a lot to offer. You know, we just need
Yeah.
to tap into our own self-esteem and say we can do it. You
Yeah.
know, as
But
Africans,
like
we
you
cannot say we can't. Mm.
But you said something important. You said we have to start recognizing our enemies and recognizing who's for us and who's not amongst ourselves. Because once we come around people that look like us, it's very hard to recognize who is for us and who's not. But what my thing is, what comes out of somebody's mouth and their actions toward you is a great way to kind of understand if they're for you or not. If they're, coming around you and they're talking about a lot of white and Chinese and, Asianness or whatever, and they're really praising the white man, then you know that they're very dangerous. But if you come around me, you automatically know that I'm black first, because I'll tell you. I'm just out like that. But if sometimes I ask, are you black first? And sometimes I'll have to listen to what they're saying, in order to understand if they're black first or not. Because when I say black first, I mean, do you put your people first, or do you put Sarah first? Because if you put Becky first, then you're not black first. If you're married to a Sam, or if you're married to a Becky or Karen, you're not black first. It's impossible for you to be married to a white woman or a white man and be black first. There's no absolute way. And I hear people say, well, yeah, I'm still black first. No, you can't be black first, because you've compromised, because your enemy feels safe with you. And that's why you're able to marry him or her, because they feel safe. Because I'm telling you, I couldn't marry somebody white because they wouldn't feel safe, because I talk to black. I'm always talking black first. It's always about my blackness, period. So that would make them very uncomfortable. So I'm just, I think we have to just be sold out for each other and sold out for blackness. And we have to get back to being sold out for blackness and get our mindset back black. How about that? And that's what
Back
it's going to take
black.
for us.
Yeah, that's a
Back
good catchphrase. Catchphrase. Yeah,
black.
back. Yeah, that's a good one. So yeah, we can have that catchphrase.
Look, I'm put that in
Also,
the comments. Get back black.
uh, yeah, I also challenge you to do this. Like, you need to mobilize. Like, and then there's something we don't realize. We are not investing even on ourselves. Like, you find people who are very good academicians, right? But they do not start their own schools. They do not have their own universities. And these things
Yeah,
we are letting the whites control, and that is where they get their control from. You know,
yeah,
that is how they control you. They don't teach you about the real Africa. They teach you of the version of Africa they want you to see. You know,
yes,
they put it on the media to reinforce it. They will never tell you that Kenya is rich in this, Kenya has developed. They will still tell you Kenya is in like it is in those olden ages, poverty, people are crying of hunger. There's nothing you can do there. So you find even you consider, even if you are so proud of being an African, you will not even want to go to the YouTube and look for any country in Africa because of what you've been told. You know.
hmm
But when you
hmm
really go and do your research, you'll be amazed with the
hmm
images you see. Right now, we are racing. They're telling us that probably Kenya or Egypt, they are going to make the tallest building on earth. Like the competition is there for development, but they'll never show you that. They'll never tell you that on CNN. You know,
hmm
and it's because they have that perception that they are good in everything. You know, so there's no way CNN is going to admit it's wrong.
And just like you were saying, how so many people was coming into Africa from China, and I think that's another form of racism against our own. We would rather, and I seen at one point where they had the bars that was closed, the white, the black people that own bars in some of the African cities, and they told them that they had to be closed, but then they were allowing the Chinese bars to be open. I saw that too. And I thought, well, this right here, in order to shut that down, you don't go. If my black brother bar cannot be open, we're not going to patronize your bars either. Seriously, it's going to be up to us. If we are going to change the mentality of the leadership, we have to show them just what I said. If we can't spend money with our black brother and sister at his bar, we're not going to the Chinese bar over there. I don't care who. We'll go to somebody's front yard and have a party. We're not going over there. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be so adamant about changing our situations and doing it. Because right now, nobody should have been in that Chinese bar. If they told you that the black bar couldn't be open, the Chinese bar shouldn't have been open. But if it was, you should have said, as a group, as a whole, we're not going over there. We're going to run him out of business. That should be how together we are at this point. We should be coming together and changing our situation and changing us. And it's up to us if we're going to do this. They're not going to do it. The leadership is not going to do it because they already sold out. We know that. So it's up to the individuals to get our mindset together and say, this is how we going to roll. This is how we going to rock. This is how we going to do it. We are going to support each other and each other only. If we can't support each other, nobody else will get this black dollar but us. Period. Plain and simple.
And
And it's time for us to
and
do it.
it's about time because as you've seen the trend, you know, it's only one continent that is yet to wake up, and that is Africa. Because the moment Africa wakes up, you see, like let me give you an example, like a country like Congo. Do you realize that there's this mineral, I think it's graphite, it's only produced in Congo, like anywhere in the world. So without it, no phones, like your phone will be useless. It will not
Mhm.
function. Forget this. Those guys don't know peace. So the mineral is being mined at a very cheap price because now they've instigated the war. So there are factions they are fighting, and then they now get the minerals at a cheaper price. Because now when the government is stable, it sets the prices, and they do not want you to reap from the benefits.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Isn't that
imagine a
something?
whole country without it, all phones in the world will not exist. But yet, the same country is in shambles. You know, it's called the paradox of Africa. You produce a lot of gold, a lot of oil, food basket of the world, yet you are suffering. The companies that even process the food are not even in those countries. They're in the Western countries. So it beats logic. You know, if it were me as a president, I would say anything that Kenya produces will never be sold out as a raw material. Full stop.
Wow. And
Come,
that's how it
make
should
your,
be.
yeah, bring your company here, process it here, add value here, sell it as a final product.
Yeah.
You know?
Here
So,
in Africa. Yep. And
and
hire in-house. We don't hire Chinese. We don't hire anybody but Africans. And that'll bring jobs. And that right there will grow Africa. And there's no reason for Africa to be in the shape that it's in right now. With the unemployment rate at the rate it is, everything that you need can be built and made right there in Africa, period. We can buy the mining companies, we can do our own mining, the own manufacturers, agriculture, everything should be coming out of Africa. And it just behooves me for the government to be okay with your people being hungry, but everybody else is full. That just blows my mind. But you have to understand who's behind him. It's not just him. It's who's financing him. And that's the
that's
problem.
what the problem is. Yeah, that is
That's
what the problem. That is what I'm saying. We should have a 5 point, I think, system of on where
uh-huh.
we identify like the major economic like activity, say
Hmm.
mining, tourism. We can say financial services. We can say agriculture and
Uh-huh.
communication. So
Right.
when you classify like that, and then now you start looking for, let's say we want to fill all the 5 gaps, right, and push them out. So now we already know what we want.
Hmm.
So if you consider you're in the US and say, okay, I need communication experts, all
Hmm.
the IT experts come here. This is the sector I want you to go and
But
get
didn't you
into.
say you were in IT? Didn't you say you were IT also?
Yeah, IT and business mostly,
Okay.
mostly business. Yeah.
Mostly
So
business, but you know a little bit about IT, right?
yeah, true, true. So
Okay.
so
Wow.
basically, so basically that because I've done business management. So basically, people need to understand that once we've developed the 5 point system, and now identifying those guys who can fill the gap becomes easier because now you have a plan, you know,
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
just saying I want to invest. But then when you come to Africa, you have no idea on where you want to invest, you know. But if you are a group of ICT specialists, you know you're going to ICT sector. If you're a
Right.
group of bankers, you know we are going to start our own bank that is going to be fully owned by Africans, you know. And we have one such bank in Kenya. It's called Equity Bank, fully owned by Africans. Actually started by an African as a circle.
Oh,
And a
wow.
circle is
Really?
something like a gathering of like 30 people.
Okay.
Yeah, you contribute monthly, and then they start a project, and then you can take a loan from it, do your development project, and then bring the money back with a bit of interest, and then it
Uh-huh.
goes around like that. So you find it grew to a whole bank, which is actually the most profitable bank probably in Eastern Central Africa within a period
Wow.
of 10 years. So
Uh-huh.
the same person who started it is still heading it up to now because he's the CEO and he actually stepped down. Mm. So it has created a lot of employment and it started with very few people. So it can be done. We can push these other banks out. You
Right.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah. So if you're in financial sector, get as many as you can from that financial sector from the US with the expertise and everything. Come set up a whole bank. A development bank. It can finance road works. Now you're getting into the nitty-gritties. Now you're financing the country. You're giving out loans to the country.
Wow.
You know, when
I'm
it
gonna
comes to
have to
tourism,
get your information, Joshua, because I have some projects that I think you can help me with. So are you on WhatsApp at all?
yeah, I am on WhatsApp. I'll give you my number.
Okay, what about it? I'm trying to see. I don't want everybody else. I don't want to put it out here
In
online.
this private chat, can you check on private chat?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send
I'll put
you
it up. Okay.
private
You put
chat.
it in there thank you. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I can do
Uh,
that because I want everybody
it's
to
okay.
have
So
your information. But yeah,
so yeah.
wow, I am
Mm,
so impressed here because I have, a lot of, because it's things that Maria and I are working on
mm,
for when we do come. So I think you would work well with what we have. I think you would fit into the plan here of what we have in mind. And I'm just looking forward to sharing some views and ideas and just making things happen. I already have the plan. I'm just waiting for some things to come through, and we're planning maybe October, November to make that trip. And we're coming for land and all this other great stuff. And I do see it there too. I do see it. So I'm going to write it down right now. But I really appreciate you even coming on here to sharing your thoughts. I try not to make them too long, but you were saying some great stuff. I mean, it's when you get to talking because I think this is a very important conversation because I think we are such a hurt, trauma filled people, and we just want somebody to love us and I guess and from what we were taught and the all of the symbolism and all of the stuff that we've been shown, they were better than our man and woman or our king and queen. So that's what we've turned to, or that's what they've turned to. But I think with our help and us getting it together and us teaching our own children, and I think that's where it's going to start, and maybe even have some live shows dealing with our mindset and possibly doing some training to just kind of retrain some thinking. And because that's the only way we're going to be free and healed up enough in order to come to Africa and be happy and not bring our traumas with us. Because you are dealing with a group of people that have been traumatized, and I mean every day, still, even till today. You have police brutality. They murder us with nobody goes to jail. Just crazy stuff happening, and we even murder each other because we were shown that our lives are worth nothing. So we treat each other the way they have taught us to treat each other. And we have to be free of that mindset. We don't want to bring that same mindset to Africa. Africa doesn't need that. We need to be healed up enough in order to start afresh and new. And it's time for us to do something different. And it's time for us to heal and to come home and do what we were put on this earth to do. And I do believe that it is an exodus and it's coming, and a lot more of us will be coming. And I do believe that he does send people ahead of us to come and do what needs to be done. But I just need us, the men, to know that we need our men back home. We need our kings to know that we can't do it any longer by ourselves, and we need you to come back to be the father that the household has been missing, and our sons have been missing. We need that back. We need that love back. We need that person back. And we're giving you permission to come back. And I think that's what's needed in our community is this plain old honesty. Um, just honesty enough to be real with each other and say, hey, it's time to heal and it's time to come back together. And I think that's what this whole thing is all about. And I think and this is what my show is about. It's about us healing enough to be able to come back whole and be happy, because that's what it's about, you know. But we're not happy here. We'll never be happy among. You can't be happy in your enemy's land. You can't be happy living around or living among or being married to your open enemy. And they and our kings have to realize that you know it's time to come back home, plain and simple. But I
Yeah.
didn't mean to be up here all night. But if you have one last word, we're gonna close with you. Your last. How can you close us out? I keep saying that, don't I? But you're bringing up some great ideas. But like I said, we're gonna do some more shows together because I think it's much
No
needed.
worries.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
it's much.
So on the number that I gave you,
Yes.
you need to add a plus before the digits. The
Okay.
plus, you'll add
Okay.
the plus and then everything will be okay. So yeah, so to just finish up for real this time, we it's called finding your way back home. So
Hmm.
it happened how it happened. You found yourself there, you were born there, you were raised
Hmm.
there, but never belonged there.
Mm-mm. Never.
You just found yourself there. So
Yeah.
um you've made the best out of it, but it's time to come back home. You
Yep.
know, motherland needs you. You know,
Yep. It's
we need
time.
all the help. We need all the help we can get. We need all the investments we can get because it's a win-win situation. You know,
Mhm.
it's not that you're investing your money is going down the drain. You know, you're gaining something from it. Your profits are coming back. You know, so we think of for long Africa has been thought of the dark continent, the
Mhm.
continent where you do not invest in. You know, when the Chinese came in, the whites realized, wait, hold on. These guys have money. They're making money from Africa. How did they do it? Africa has always been rich. Like, it's now that US wants to come back. But again, Africans are awake. They're now having their own businesses,
Yep.
replacing them, you know, pushing them aside, you know. And we need that preferential treatment because it's our land,
Yep.
it's our
Yeah.
future. You know? So
Yeah.
we need to protect the universities that are here. They are owned by the blacks. They are run by the blacks. You know. So if we have black professors there who are good at aeronautical engineering, come get the students, build a plane, build a
Yes.
car. We need those practical solutions to things. You know.
Yes.
So, and don't forget one thing, which is the most important thing. We need to find a link whereby Africans and African Americans can interact, share ideas,
Hmm.
have a level playing field where they both can feel okay. So we need to get Africa off the ground and we need to make it great again.
Yes.
So, because there's this disconnect, we have a disconnect between the Americans and the Africans, you know. So we need to find that solution. If the solution is intermarrying, go ahead. It makes things even easier because now we get entangled with each other. We do not know. All we know is that we're all blacks and we need
Yeah.
to get this continent up and running, you know. So there'll be no longer African American. It'll just be African, full stop,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
Once you step
Yeah.
in the motherland, it's not that you're an African American, you're an African. It ends there, you know.
Right.
So let's own our pride. Let's make Africa great again. That is all.
Absolutely. That is the best thing you could have said. Let's make Africa great again. It's time. It's time. But Joshua, I appreciate you so much for coming on. And I know we kind of put you on the spot, but we want to get a man's opinion because two women talking, that was only our opinion. But we
Okay.
really appreciate you coming on and giving us your word and enlightening us to help us to understand just what we're really dealing with and how deep that hole goes. But I do appreciate you taking your time out to even come on and having the nerves to come on, because I know it wasn't easy, but you are wise and I do appreciate you coming on. I do. And thank you so much. Thank you. And everybody that joined, I do appreciate everybody that came on, and I do appreciate everybody that will come on again, and we'll see this periodically through the week. I am on every Thursday, and the next week is going to be an even better topic because we're going to keep on growing and we're going to keep on becoming Africa for African Americans for Africa. We are going to get it together, and we are going to be who we were created to be. And we're going to do it together because we cannot do this without each other. We need each other. And like I said, I appreciate everybody that tuned in, but everybody have a great week. And we're going to end with this. Peace, have fun, and have a great week, and be safe, you guys. Thanks again, Joshua. Appreciate
Okay, bye.
you. All righty.